Game number 42 for the Harbor Hawks could add more definition to a playoff picture that grows clearer every day in the Western Division. The 4 playoff teams in the West are set, but their seeds are still undecided. Only one team knows its exact playoff fate in the West, Bourne, and that's not necessarily a good thing. The Braves are officially out of playoff contention going into tonight's series finale against the Hawks at McKeon Park, and Bourne is playing for pride while Hyannis is playing to strengthen its grip on the second place spot in the West. Find out who gets their way tonight on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Lucey. I'll be taking you through pregame coverage up until tonight's 6 o'clock first pitch. Hyannis puts their second place 22-16-3 record on the line tonight against a Bourne ball club that sits at 17-23-1. The Braves are in last place in the West and out of playoff contentions with 2 games left after tonight. Tonight's pregame coverage includes highlights from a comeback Hawks win last night, an interview with Seth Gray, and one last look at the Braves with play-by-play man Lyle Goldstein. There's plenty to cover, so let's get right into it. Yesterday was a slugfest from McKeon Park. The Firebirds came in fighting for their playoff lives, only 1 point out of the East's last playoff spot. Orleans jumped out to a 4-run lead after 2 innings, but Hyannis wasn't ready to roll over. Check out the highlights, courtesy of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on SoundCloud.
Welcome, everyone, to McKeon Park here in Hyannis, Massachusetts. I'm Robert Marcello, along with Chris Lucey, and a game this evening that has a lot of implications, not only for the Harbor Hawks, but especially for the Orleans Firebirds. And the pitch. That is sent high out to left field. That will get down. That will go off the wall. Pedro Pages coming home. Todd Lott doesn't even have to slide in a one-out double. Now is the Harbor Hawks on the board. A great plate piece by Todd Lott. And the pitch. That is sent right out to right field, and that will be gone. Home run. In a 2-run shot by J.J. Day now has this deficit to 4. Now it's 7-3 here from McKeon Park.
Still out there. Pitch. The next one he sees is cut on and cranked out towards right field. It's going back towards the trees and is way gone. Seth Gray breaking his way out of an 0-for-18 skid with a bomb out to right field to tie this game up at 8 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. He's ready. The 2-2. Hacked on and served high into the night sky, out into the gap in left center field. Will it get down? Yes, it does. It bounces off the base of the wall right in front of Frazier. Rivera scores. Garris scores. Tommy Jew on his horse to third base with a 2-out, 2 RBI triple to put Hyannis up 11-9 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Thomas to the set again. 1-2 to count. 2 away. Top of the 9th inning, a 2-run edge for the Harbor Hawks. The pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. And a roller coaster ride of a ball game ends in a Hyannis Harbor Hawks win 11-9, the final score. Robert Marcello and I were on a call for a game I'll personally never forget last night. An 11-9 Hawks victory over the Firebirds just from right here in Hyannis. If you want more post-game highlights, be sure to follow us on SoundCloud. Just head over to the site and search Hyannis Harbor Hawks. We're back in the booth now here at McKeon Park, overlooking Judy Scarafile Field, where the Harbor Hawks take on Bourne at the top of the hour. I'm your pregame host, Chris Lucey. Seth Gray has had his ups and downs at the plate this season, but still, he had a game-changing blast last night for the Harbor Hawks. The next one he sees is cut on and cranked out towards right field. It's going back towards the trees and is way gone. Seth Gray breaking his way out of an 0-for-18 skid with a bomb out to right field to tie this game up at 8 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A special night for Seth, to say the least, coming in with a bit of a struggle on his mind, but coming out of that game with his first homer of the season, and man, was it a moonshot for someone who was able to see it firsthand. Gray put Hyannis into its side with that home run and kept Hyannis in it after that with his glove at third base. The right state infielder really has been a crucial part to a solid second-place ball club this season, and he caught up with Dani Terzer earlier today. Let's listen into their conversation, courtesy of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on Twitter at Harbor Hawks.
I'm here with Seth Gray, who had his first Yabo of the season last night, a 2-run dinger. It was also the game-tying run. How do you approach your at-bat in that type of situation where you have a really close game and you have the chance to take the lead?
With guys on base, I just cut the corners and tried to get a pitch over the middle of the plate. He left a changeup up, so I just put a good swing on and did some damage with it.
23 of your 29 hits this season have been singles. How does that strategy help play to your strengths as a hitter?
I'm a gaps type of guy. I don't hit a bunch of home runs, but I do occasionally, like you saw last night.
Your host mom has been super supportive of you this season so far. Without your parents coming to every game like they do at school, how does having her here as a support system help your game?
It helps a lot. I mean, she's been great throughout the season. She supported me a lot. So it's definitely nice having somebody to support you when my parents are not here.
Thanks, Seth.
Thank you.
Seth Gray and Dani Terzer right there. Seth loving the support from his host parent, and fittingly enough, tonight is Host Family Appreciation Night. All the host families lined up down the third base line on Judy Scarafal Field right now. Seth Gray coming up soon to show them a little bit of love, and he's been supporting the Harbor Hawks quite well with his bat this year. .248 batting average in 36 games played this season, 117 at-bats, 29 hits in that time, 15 RBIs, 13 walks. A productive player, to say the least. Thanks to him and also to Dani for taking time out of their pregame routines to chat with you here on the pregame coverage on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Dani puts all of her player interviews, including that one with Seth, on our Twitter page, so be sure to give us a follow and check out all of her content. At Harbor Hawks is the handle. I'm Chris Lucey, taking you through pregame coverage before a 6 o'clock first pitch between Bourne and Hyannis. It's game number 42 on the season, so only 2 games remain before the playoffs get underway. And as always, this time of year is chock full of roster turnover here on the Cape. Codball reported this morning that 35 players have been released from their Cape League contracts since the All-Star game. That was only 9 days ago. It could be any number of reasons on a case-by-case basis for the most part for any of these ball players. Innings limits for some, most always pitchers. Nagging injuries and also concerned coaches back at their college programs are amongst the biggest harbingers of change in the league. The talent drain hits every team every season, and this one, honestly, is no different. The only question remains, how well do you restock your rosters before the playoffs start? Hyannis' answer so far has been these 3 new players. Wagner infielder Anthony Pecora, BYU two-way player Mitch McIntyre, and UMass pitcher Connor Donahue. Let's get to know them. Pecora should be a familiar name to most Harbor Hawks fans. The infielder actually had a stint with the ball club at the end of 2016. Pecora picked up 5 hits and 11 at-bats for Hyannis. Wagner Sr. makes his way to the island after an appearance in the Valley League All-Star Game, another Wood Bat Collegiate Summer League. He has yet to make his first appearance, but comes in with a lot of momentum behind him. BYU's Mitch McIntyre comes to Hyannis after a quick stint with the DC Grays in the Cal Ripken Summer League. The outfielder and left-handed pitcher hit .254 in his freshman season out in Provo. And last, but certainly not least, there's Connor Donahue from UMass Amherst. The right-handed pitcher stands at 6'3" and weighs 215 pounds. He threw 7 1/3 innings for the Minutemen in his freshman spring. Again, I mentioned earlier, none of these 3 have made their debuts yet, so keep your ears peeled for them here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Hyannis and Bourne are almost ready to take the field at 6. I'm your pregame host, Chris Lucey, getting you caught up with your favorite summer ball team before first pitch. We're going to take a quick break now, but come back with Lyle Goldstein. He's on the first half play-by-play call and will get us acquainted with the Braves. Back in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back with pregame coverage here on the Hyannis Hawks Digital Network, alongside Lyle Goldstein, who joins me in the booth right now. I'm Chris Lucey. Lyle's our first half play-by-play man. He's looked at the Braves from top to bottom and will help us get to know them before a 6 o'clock first pitch. Now, Lyle, my first question for you about this Bourne Braves ball club is that, we have to take a look at really what their Achilles heel has been this summer. They won the Western Division Championship last season, and they returned a core of 5 solid players from that ball club. What is it that's held them back this season?
I think it's just the fact that they haven't been able to capitalize with runners on base. They're third in the league in hits, but then 7th in runs scored. And then on top of that, they haven't really been able to pitch either. A team ERA of 4.45. So for the Bourne Braves, it's kind of been a rough go of it, and scoring runs has especially been their Achilles heel as of late, as they've really spiraled over this last second half of the season, especially post-All-Star game.
Zach Cohn is going for the Harbor Hawks, and Zach Peak, a battle of 2 Zachs out here on Judy Scarfowl Field starting at 6 p.m. And Peak had a rough outing against Katuitt last week, 2 2/3 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. That certainly wasn't his best performance, Lyle, but what have his numbers looked like throughout the season?
Well, Zach Peak's been up and down, to say the least. His ERA just above 7, an 0-1 record in 21 2/3 innings. And his last start wasn't too pretty against the Kettleers. He gave up 4 runs in 2 2/3. But for Zach Peak, he can strike some guys out, 26 strikeouts on the year compared to just 8 walks. So for him, it's kind of about the backwards K, the forwards K, though any way he can find to punch some hitters out, because that seems to be his bread and butter. But when he leaves it too far over the plate, guys are going to hit him around a little bit, and that's been pretty evident in his last couple outings.
And Zach Cohn's last outing, as he's starting for the Harbor Hawks today, was actually against the Bourne Braves down at Doran Park, and he went 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits, only 1 earned run allowed, struck out 3 in that contest. But Lyle, Hyannis has taxed their bullpen pretty hard over the last couple of days. What can Zach do to maybe stretch out to 5 or 6 very, very needed innings for this Harbor Hawks pitching staff?
I think it's just as simple as keeping the ball in the zone for Zach Cohn. He's got some good stuff. His fastball sits low to mid-90s. He's got the ability to punch guys out and keep hitters off balance. It's just going to be the durability factor and how long he can go through this Bourne Braves order. Like we've talked about, second, third time through a lineup is often when some of these starting pitchers start to struggle, and we'll see how he fares today.
Zach Cohn, a reliever at Central Michigan, started the season as a reliever for the Harbor Hawks, but since has made his way into the starting rotation. and toes the rubber for the Harbor Hawks tonight. Lyle, thank you so much for joining me. I'll let you hop off the headset right now and get back to your prep for the first 4.5 innings of this game. Robert Marcello with the latter 4.5. Should be a good one here from McKeon Park. The Harbor Hawks taking on the Bourne Braves at the top of the hour. We're less than 10 minutes away. So before we toss to a break and these two take over, let's take a look around Cape Cod. Over at Lowell Park, it's the bottom of the third inning. The Katuitt Kettleers and Wareham Gatemen squaring off from down there. Score still knotted up at 0. Wareham beat Hyannis pretty badly a few days ago, 10-6 the final score, but 10-2 going into the top of the 9th inning. The offensive momentum from that top of the 9th carrying Hyannis through an 11-9 slugfest victory yesterday against the Orleans Firebirds. And Wareham just trying to solidify their grip on first place right now down at Lowell Park. Over at Arnie Allen Diamond, starting up in just about 10 minutes as well, the Falmouth Commodores take on the Brewster Whitecaps. And Hyannis did them a solid last night, beating their division rival Orleans Firebirds, who sit only 1 point behind them in the Eastern Division standings. Brewster with 28 points on the season, Orleans with 27. The Firebirds could have leapfrogged the Whitecaps for the final playoff spot in their division had they beaten the Harbor Hawks last night, but this ball club did not want to roll over. Over at White House Field in Harwich right now, the Harwich Mariners are set to take on the Chatham Anglers at about 6:30. Chatham clinched a playoff spot already. They're at 43 points, just looking to continue dominating going into the latter part of the season and then also the playoffs as well. And rounding things off, a 7 o'clock start from Eldridge Park for the Orleans Firebirds against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, a battle of the bottom in Orleans and the top of the Eastern Division. YD pacing the entire Cape with a whopping 55 points, while Orleans is almost 30 points behind them at 27. First pitch coming up at 6 p.m. between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Bourne Braves here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm your pregame host, Chris Lucey. I'll step aside right now, but I'll be back. You can catch me at the top of the 4th inning with an Around the League update, as well as on the postgame portion of the play-by-play broadcast, and also on our postgame video recap, Hawk Talk. You can catch that on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Hyannis Harbor Hawks, the page. You'll get a push notification every time we go live and every time we put out Hawk Talk. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for a dandy out here in Hyannis. The Harbor Hawks take on the Braves in mere moments. Thank you for tuning into our pregame coverage, and we'll be back in just a sec.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
From McKeon Park in Hyannis, Massachusetts, the Harbor Hawks are back at home for the second straight day and looking to pick up a victory for the second straight day. For the final time in this regular season, they welcome in the Bourne Braves in search of win number 5 against the last place team in the Western Division. Harbor Hawks baseball starts right now. Hi, everybody. I'm Lyle Goldstein alongside Robert Marcello on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Rob, the story's already told for Bourne. Their season is all but over. They won't be going to the playoffs this season. So for Hyannis, a team that's looking to move their way up the Western Division in the coming days as the regular season winds down, what's going to be their key for them tonight?
I think they have to take Bourne seriously, knowing they're out of a playoff spot. Bourne still has a lot to play for, and pride is that factor. I think what I said last night on Hawk Talk holds true, that we're going to see two different sides maybe of this Bourne team today, a team that doesn't care or a team that comes and play. And I think we're going to see option number 2. This Bourne team's going to be hungry, trying to play spoiler here on the road against the Harbor Hawks.
Harbor Hawks will counter with Central Michigan right-hander Zach Cohn, making his 3rd start of the season, 2nd start against these Bourne Braves, and 3rd appearance against the Braves this season. Tyler Fitzgerald will lead things off, the Louisville shortstop just outside the batter's box for the Bourne Braves. He'll be followed by Anthony Prado out of UConn doing the designated hitting. Jared Triello in the number 3 spot playing third base. Ashton Bardzell doing the cleanup duties out of Hartford and playing center field. Jake Gorella in the 5 spot, the St. Louis right fielder. Lyle Lynn hitting 6th and playing first base out of Arizona State. As Cohn checks and fires the first pitch, swinging a ground ball out to Taylor Garris at second, moves a step to his right, fields cleanly, and throws across for the first out of the game. 1 pitch, 1 out for Zach Cohn, and Fitzgerald's retired in the top of the first.
Good way to start for Cohn, being able to induce a ground ball early, something he's going to have to do throughout the night tonight if they want to be able to get a win at home.
So Garris making the easy play. The final third of the Braves lineup, Jake McKenzie hitting 7th, the Fordham second baseman, Tyler Shedler McAvoy hitting 8th out of Seton Hall, and rounding out the 9, Cooper Johnson, the Ole Miss catcher. As Anthony Prado, the new hitter, takes a called strike on a fastball from Cohn. Zach working from the windup and from the right side. Fires the next pitch in, a fastball. Strike 2 is the call from the home plate umpire in Bill Capozzolo. Pages behind the plate. Zach Cohn getting his sign. The windup in the 0-2 delivery. down low for ball 1. Anthony Prado's 4 for his last 8. Hitting from the right side, bat set right on his right shoulder. The 1-2, swing and a miss for strike 3, and that's out number 2. Zach Cohn records his first strikeout of the night, and there's 2 down in the top of the first inning.
Nice pitch there by Zach Cohn, getting Prado to swing and miss there. Now with the third man up in the order. See if Cohn can get it out of this. 1, 2, 3.
It'll be Jared Triello out of Houston. Right-handed hitter for the Bourne Braves. Hitting .200 against Zach Cohn this season. First pitch is inside for a ball. Defense for the Harbor Hawks tonight. Seth Gray over at third, Davis Wenzel at short, Taylor Garris at second, and Brady Lindsley at first. Now the 1-0 from Zach Cohn. Foul ball right off the knob of the bat to even the count at a ball and a strike. Triello pulled his hands back like it might have hit him, but it just hit the wood of the bat right off the knob, and the count evens. From left to right, respectively, Matthew Barefoot in left, Tommy Jew in center field, and out in right, Eric Rivera from Florida Atlantic. Once again, Pedro Pages behind the plate and doing the catching. And now the pitch from Cohn. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Triello swings right through that fastball from the righty and Cohn, and Zach's 1 pitch away from a clean first frame. Infield playing back. Nobody on and 2 outs. 1-2 offering. Fastball called, strike 3 right on the outside corner. Beautiful first inning for Zach Cohn. Records 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the first. Harbor Hawks will come up to bat in the bottom half of the first inning. Davis Wenzel, Tommy Jew, and Matthew Barefoot due up when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein.
Bottom half of the first, moments from getting underway at McKeon Park. A clean first inning for Zach Cohn in the top half of the first frame. Davis Wenzel set to lead things off here for the Harbor Hawks, adjusting his batting gloves outside the box. The pitcher for the Bourne Braves tonight, the right-hander Zach Peak out of Winthrop University, making his 5th start on the year and 8th appearance. First pitch to Wenzel's inside for a ball. Wenzel will be followed by Tommy Jew out of UCSB. Matthew Barefoot back in the lineup tonight, hitting 3rd out of Campbell. Seth Gray in the cleanup spot from Wright State. Pedro Pages hitting 5th, coming off a 3-for-5 day at FAU. Todd Lott in the 6th spot. Eric Rivera hitting 7th. Brady Lindsley in the 8th spot. And rounding out the 9, Taylor Garris from Samford. Wenzel swings and fouls one back and out of play. 1-1 the count to the Baylor Bear and Davis Wenzel. Feet set really close together. Breaking ball from Peak misses away. Davis Wenzel went 1 for 5 in yesterday's contest. Got a shiny gold top of his bat setting behind his right shoulder as he swings and pops one up and foul. And the count will stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Zach Peak, 26 strikeouts and 21 2/3 innings pitched. Defense playing back, nobody on. Leadoff hitter in Wenzel looking to reach base. 2-2 offering. Swinging a foul, out of play again. Peak will get a new ball from his catcher and Cooper Johnson out of Ole Miss. Rest of the Braves infield, Jared Triolo at third, Tyler Fitzgerald at short, Jake McKenzie at second base, and Lyle Lynn over at first. Wenzel back into the box. Receives the 2-2 pitch and watches it miss low and away on a breaking ball. Full count to the leadoff hitter in Davis Wenzel. From left to right, respectively, Tyler Shedler McAvoy, Ashton Bardzell, and Jake Garella for the Bourne Braves. Now the payoff pitch to Wenzel. Fastball up high for ball 4, and the Baylor Bear draws a leadoff walk in the bottom of the first.
Good way to start for Wenzel, being able to work the count, getting a walk in his first at-bat, today for the Harbor Hawks. Starting to get things going here early because the Harbor Hawks are trying to get out to an early lead.
Davis recording his 21st walk of the summer. That'll bring up Tommy Jew. He's in the number 2 spot tonight. Found himself in the leadoff spot in yesterday's win over the Firebirds, but now back to his usual spot in the lineup. Now from the stretch is Peak. First pitch to Tommy, swinging a ground ball over to the left side, backhanded by Fitzgerald, tosses the second for 1, relay to first, not in time. Tommy Jew beating it by half a step, but a 6-4 fielder's choice recorded by the Bourne Braves and a nice play over at shortstop by Tyler Fitzgerald, moving off to his right, backhanding it in the hole, and then an off-balance throw over to McKenzie at second base.
Nice play there by Fitzgerald, as you said, Lyle, being able to get on his backhand, still being able to throw it over to second. But great speed by Tommy Jew there, making sure he didn't get doubled off.
In steps the number 3 hitter in Matthew Barefoot with a runner on first and 1 out. Barefoot sporting black batting gloves today. Left foot behind the right. Takes a first pitch for a called strike right on the outside half. Now Matthew Barefoot comes into today 0 for his last 6. Haven't said that much this summer. .376 batting average for the Campbell outfielder. From the stretch is Peak. Tommy Jew taking off. Throw down to second by Cooper Johnson. Skips away from the shortstop and Fitzgerald and trickles into center field. Tommy Jew picks up a stolen base as he's on at second with 1 out. That pitch called a ball to the hitter in Matthew Barefoot. As the count's now 1-1. So now Matthew Barefoot with an RBI opportunity, looking to draw first blood in this contest. Jew dancing off of second, giving him a look as Peak now comes home, swinging a foul out of play. Popping it up behind home plate is the hitter in Matthew Barefoot. Barefoot didn't play in last night's ball game. 2 days ago out at Spillane Field against the Gatemen, was hit on the forearm with a fastball. That was back in the 3rd inning, took him out of the ball game. A little bit of a scary moment out at Spillane Field, but he's okay. Now back into the lineup in today's game. Jew still getting a solid lead at second. Pitch to Barefoot, fastball in the dirt, gets off to the left of the catcher and Cooper Johnson, and jogging down to third is Tommy Jew. So Tommy moving up 180 feet in the course of 1 at bat and is now 90 feet away from plating a run. Barefoot, meanwhile, hitting .364 with 19 RBIs when there's runners in scoring position. Counts 2-2. Back into the windup is Peak. Pitch to Barefoot, swinging a fly ball out to shallow right field. Taking a couple of steps in is Jake Garella. Settles under it to make the catch. Tommy Jew coming home. Throw to the plate by Garella is offline. Tommy Jew scoring standing up. And a sacrifice fly from Matthew Barefoot makes it 1-0 Harbor Hawks. Picking right back up where he left off.
Great job there by Matthew Barefoot, being able to send a ball out into right field. Now being able to score that run, that's huge.
So So the Harbor Hawks scoring early here, 1-0 in the bottom of the first. Seth Gray digging in with the bases empty and 2 out. First pitch he sees is a called strike. Well, the Harbor Hawks sure fare well when they score first in a ball game, 11-3 when drawing first blood this season. Gray takes a fastball down to even the count. That one in the dirt, skipping away from Cooper Johnson. Peak gets his sign, kicks and fires the 1-1, fastball runs away. Infield back, playing behind the line is Jared Triola, or behind the bag at third, a little bit off the foul line. 2-1 offering to Seth, fastball outside again. The Wright State Raider finds himself in a 3-1 count. Nobody on, 2 out. Gray sets that bat on his left shoulder. Takes one down for ball 4. Second walk issued of the inning from the right-hander in Zach Peak. And Seth Gray trots down to first with a 2-out base on balls. Gray staying pretty patient at that at bat, not chasing anything off the zone. And it'll bring up Pedro Pages. Seth Gray, meanwhile, looking to put an 0 for 18 well in the rearview mirror, and he sure did that last night with that long 2-run home run out to right center field. That knotted up the ball game here in a crazy 11-9 win for the Harbor Hawks last night. But Seth, meanwhile, after that long ball in last night's contest, picks up a walk with 2 outs. He's on at first, being held on by Lyle Lynn. Now the pitch to Pages, swinging a ground ball over to the second baseman in McKenzie. Fields it going off to his left. Throws over to Lyle Lynn for the 3rd out of the inning. 1 left on for the Harbor Hawks, but not before a sacrifice fly from Matthew Barefoot makes it 1-0 Hyannis. Top of the second coming up in just a moment here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Hyannis leading 1-0.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Four, 5, 6 hitters due up for the Braves in the top of the second inning. He'll be facing Zach Cohn for the first time tonight, as Ashton Bardzell digs in and takes a ball high from the righty in Cohn. Zach recorded a 1-2-3 top of the first after a ground out to Taylor Garris to the first hitter, recorded back-to-back strikeouts, as the next offering from the windup is up high. 2 balls, no strikes. Ashton Bardzell sporting the number 30 on his back. Cone with the number 35, kicks and deals, swinging a fly ball down the right field line, giving chases Eric Rivera off to his left. He can't get there, and it drops in fair. Heading to second is Barzell. The throw is offline and into the infield grass, and standing up with a leadoff double is the Hartford outfielder in Ashton Barzell, his first hit of the ball game and the first Bourne Braves hit of the ball game.
It looked like at first glance that Eric Rivera was going to be able to get that ball. Just drops in right before the line out in right field. Barzell sitting up at second base. The Harbor Hawks quickly in trouble to start the top of the second.
Rivera having to run a long way over from the gap in right center. He was shaded a little off to his right, and that ball landed just a foot to the left of the right field line. Now the new hitter in Jake Garella takes a first pitch strike. Runner on second. Taylor Garris now playing up the middle. Giving some hand motions to the right-hander in Cone. Now working from the stretch. Sets right at the belt. Kicks and fires the 0-1. A swing and a miss through an off-speed pitch. 0-2 to Jake Garella out of St. Louis. This is just his second road game of the summer. Was activated just under a couple of weeks ago. Now Cone ready. 0-2 offering. Fastball just outside. Cone has a couple of his buttons on his jersey unbuttoned on the front side. Now from the stretch, the pitch to Garella, swinging a shallow fly ball out to center field. Coming in is Tommy Jew, settles under it to make the grab for the second out. Throws it back in. Retreating back is Ashton Barzell to second base. And Zach Cones responded well after a leadoff double, recording the first out of the inning to the hitter in Jake Garella. Tommy Jew coming in. He's playing around his usual spot, just straight away in center field. Right on the dead patch of grass, about 50 feet in front of the center field wall. Had no trouble crashing in for that one. Cone looking back to his middle infielders, getting ready to face Arizona State first baseman Lyle Lynn. Lynn extends his right shoulder, bat set at the head level. Takes the first pitch outside. Harbor Hawks tonight sporting their white home jerseys with the orange sleeves, white pants and blue hats with the orange H on top. Bourne, meanwhile, blue jerseys, navy blue with red stripes. Lynn swings at that pitch and sends a high fly ball out to deep left field. Back is barefoot, looking up, and that ball's history. Lyle Lynn blows a kiss over to the Bourne Braves dugout and trots around the bases with a 2-run blast in the top of the second. Bourne now leads 2-1 here at McKeon Park. Lyle Lynn comes through with his first home run of the summer, 19th long ball and 13th RBI. He turned on that pitch from Zach Cone, taking it out to left field. Knew it right off the bat. Barefoot gave a couple of courtesy steps, but just watch it fly. Swing and a miss by the new hitter and Jake McKenzie at the first pitch from Cone for a ball, or for a strike, I should say. 0-1. McKenzie holding that bat well above his head as he swings and fists one out to short right field. Going back and off to his left is Taylor Garris. Makes the catch on the run over the shoulder for the second out.
Good response there by Cone after letting up a 2-run shot to Lyle Lynn there. Left the pitch up to Lynn. He made it take advantage of it, but McKenzie there, he left up another pitch there, but for Cone, that's a good sign because he was able to pop him right up to Garris.
2 outs, 2 runs have come across. The hitter and Tyler Shedler McAvoy takes a called strike on the outside corner from Cone. Shedler McAvoy's 1 for his first 9, has only played a couple of games this summer. Next offering, fastball misses high and away. Bourne, as I was saying a minute ago, red sleeves on the navy blue jerseys, gray pants with a red stripe, and navy blue helmets. Now the 1-1, swinging a line drive foul down the right field line and into the bullpen. So Zach Cone recorded the first 3 hitters he saw in the first. Leadoff double to Barzell, followed up 2 hitters later by a 2-run shot from Lyle Lynn. That keeps the score where we're at right now, 2-1 Bourne, as that pitch from Cone misses high and away. Count evens, 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Zach Cohn from the windup. The offering to the hitter in McAvoy, swinging a foul over the Bourne Braves dugout, now to play. Tyler Shedler McAvoy had his 1 hit come against the Falmouth Commodores 3 days ago. That was on a double out at Gov Fuller Field. 2-2 from Cohn, a heater misses high. Another full count, this time to the hitter in Tyler Shedler McAvoy, who plays his college ball out at Seton Hall. Manning left field tonight for the Braves. Payoff pitch from Cohn, fastball just inside for ball 4, and drawing a 2-out walk is Tyler Shedler McAvoy. He's on at first, bringing up the number 9 hitter in Cooper Johnson. Johnson coming into today on a big-time slump. The Ole Miss catcher won for his last 25. It's been a season of struggles for the Ole Miss catcher. Hitting from the right side, taps the barrel of his bat to the plate twice, now comes into his stance. The stretch and the fastball from Cohn, a called strike on the outside corner. Slight wind here at McKeon Park, blowing from left to right. Infield back. Cohn ready. The next offering, swing and a miss for strike 2. Brady Lindsley over at first, holding on the runner in Shedler McAvoy. The shade's starting to come in a little bit here at McKeon Park. Trees starting to come over Matthew Barefoot and left, making their way to Tommy Jew out in center field. And now the stretch and the pitch from Cohn, a fastball just away for ball 1. Zach Cohn started walking off the mound like he got strike 3, but the home plate umpire in Bill Capozzolo says no, sir, and the Central Michigan righty makes his way back onto the mound. Receives the ball back. Now comes into the set from the right side. Kicks and fires the 1-2. Fastball, same spot, just away again. Cohn not getting that call the last 2 pitches. And now the count's even to the hitter in Cooper Johnson, adjusting his batting gloves. Johnson's got 3 RBIs this summer. On at first is Shedler McAvoy. 2-2 from Cohn, swinging a ground ball over to Taylor Garris at short. Hustling over to his left, fields it cleanly and throws on to Brady Lindsley. A high throw, but the first baseman comes up to grab it down for the 3rd out. So Zach Cohn gets out of the top of the 2nd, but not before a 2-run shot from Lyle Lynn gives the Bourne Braves their first lead of the day. 2-1 Braves through an inning and a half. We'll be back in the bottom of the 2nd right after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Todd Lott, Eric Rivera, and Brady Lindsley set to go here for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Now trailing by a score of 2-1 after a 2-run shot from Lyle Lynn gave the Bourne Braves the lead. Hitter in Lott, velcroing his batting gloves a step outside the box. Puts one hand to his helmet and now digging in. The righty and peaks, fires and deals the first pitch, a fastball low and outside. Todd Lott, 3 for 5 yesterday with a double. Swings at that pitch and sends a ground ball through the left side for a base hit. Thrown back in by the left fielder in Shedler, McAvoy, and Todd Lott with a screaming ground ball. Neither the third baseman in Triolo or the shortstop in Fitzgerald moving a muscle for that one, as the Raging Cajuns on with a leadoff single in the bottom of the second.
Nice piece there by Todd Lott, being able to get it past both the shortstop and the third baseman. A leadoff hit here. Something that happened last inning with a guy getting on, ended up scoring a run out of it.
Brings up Eric Rivera, Florida Atlantic right fielder. Lott getting a lead at first. First pitch, Rivera swinging a ground ball over to the second baseman in McKenzie. Throws the second for one, fires over to first, but not in time. Eric Rivera beating the throw out. A 4-6 fielder's choice recorded by the FAU Owl in Rivera. Lott nabbed out at second, but there's one down in the bottom of the second inning. Jake McKenzie having to move a couple steps to his right to field that ball, turned his body and made a strong throw over to Fitzgerald. So now Rivera's on. Brady Lindsley hitting from the left side in the number 8 spot for the Harbor Hawks. Brady swings the bat toward the mound once. Now sets right-hander in peak. From the stretch, deals a first pitch fastball low and outside. Brady Lindsley 1 for 5 in yesterday's game. And looking to build on that today. Rivera on at first. The stretch in the pitch from peak is a called strike to even the count. Well, Brady Lindsley sure has been hot as of late. Hits in 5 of his last 7 games, including a 4-hit night out at Spillane Field against the Wareham Gatemen. 4 singles and a walk, reaching base 5 times. Now Peak ready from the stretch. Eric Rivera takes off for second. Johnson double clutches. The throw down skips away from the shortstop in Fitzgerald. Backing up is Jake McKenzie right behind him, but Eric Rivera diving headfirst into second with a stolen base. Now a runner on second and 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Brady Lindsley finds himself in an RBI opportunity. Peak giving Rivera a little bit of attention. Fitzgerald playing right behind him. As Peak steps off the mound, Rivera moves back to the bag. Lindsley's hitting .240 with runners in scoring position this summer. Rivera dancing off second. Stretching the pitch to Lindsley, swinging a ground ball off the fists over to the first baseman, Lyle Lynn. Charging in off the tip of his glove, and he can't make the play. Brady Lindsley reaches first. Eric Rivera moves over to third. And there's runners on the corners now for the Harbor Hawks, striking right back here in the bottom of the second inning. 1 down, 2 on for Taylor Garris, the Samford second baseman. That'll be recorded in E3. Lyle Lynn charging in for that one. That ball was slowly moving right his way, but couldn't quite see it right into the back of his glove. As it hit right off the tip, and Brady Lindsley's aboard at first. Garris looking to tie the game up. Samford second baseman wiggling that bat up and down. Takes a first pitch strike from the right-hander in Zach Peak. Taylor Garris hit .257 in the season at Samford. 23 RBIs to his name. The next pitch, swinging a line drive foul, out of play on the right side. He was part of a Bulldogs team that went 37-26, including a 16-8 record in conference play this season. They lost in the Tallahassee Regional as the number 4 seed. Garris staring down the righty in Peak. Comes home with the next pitch, and it misses just outside. 1-2 the count to Taylor Garris, the hitter. Lindsley a short lead at first, Rivera over at third. The Winthrop righty and Peak gets the sign. Pitch to Garris, swinging a ground ball over to Tyler Fitzgerald at short, moving to his left, throws to second for one, relay to first, and that's in time. A 6-4-3 double play, just what the doctor ordered for the right-hander in Zach Peak. No runs come across for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the second. One man left on base, and the score remains 2-1 Bourne here through 2 innings of play. Top of the third inning coming up when we come back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Two to one Bourne the score as we get set in the top of the third inning. Zach Cohn back on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. Set to face the top of the Braves lineup with Tyler Fitzgerald stepping into the box for the second time today. Cohn from the right side working from the windup. Shakes off a couple of signs from Pedro Pages behind the plate as time is called. Fitzgerald grounded out to Taylor Garris on the first pitch of the ball game back in the top of the first. As he swings at the first pitch of this at bat and grounds one foul just to the left of the third base line out of the stretch of Seth Gray. That Cohn will get a new ball. Fitzgerald steps outside the box. Tyler went 5 for 5 against the Commodores back on July the 28th at Gov Fuller Field. But since 0 for his last 6. Takes a fastball low. 1 ball and 1 strike to Fitzgerald, who's had quite the summer for the Bourne Braves ball club. Coming from the windup, kicks and deals, swinging a fly ball out to the gap in right center field. Coasting over is Tommy Jew. Settles under it, calling off Eric Rivera, and makes the catch just over the shoulder for the first out of the inning. So the hitter in Fitzgerald lifting that one out to right center, but Tommy Jew having a beat on it right away. That'll bring up Anthony Prado, the Yukon designated hitter. But as I was saying about Fitzgerald, he comes into today 4th in the Cape Cod League in hits with 45 and leads the league in doubles with 14. First pitch is a called strike to Prado. Cohn pumping in a fastball there to his catcher in Pages. Now working quickly, the next offering, a swing and a miss right through that one for strike 2. Anthony Prado in search of his first hit today. Already struck out swinging once in the first. 0-2, swinging a fly ball out to shallow right field. Eric Rivera coming toward the line. Makes the catch, settling under it for the second out of the inning. 2 quick flyouts for the right-hander in Zach Cohn, keeping his outfielders busy here in the top of the third inning. 1 out to Tommy Jew, the other to Eric Rivera. And there's 2 down as the number 3 hitter in the Braves lineup in Jared Triolo set to go. Triolo's recorded hits in 6 of his last 7 games. Cohn winds and fires the first pitch, swinging a ground ball over to Davis Wenzel at short. Right in front of him, fields it right in front of his body, comes up, throws across, and that's the end of the inning. A lightning fast 1-2-3 frame for Zach Cohn in the top of the third inning as the score remains 2-1 Bourne here at McKeon Park. When we come back in the bottom of the third, it'll be the top of the Harbor Hawks order. Davis Wenzel, Tommy Jew, and Matthew Barefoot set to go when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Zach Peak back on the mound for the bottom of the third inning as the Baylor Bear and Davis Wenzel set to lead off. Righty-righty matchup on hand here at McKeon Park. 2-1 Bourne the score. Wenzel gets into his usual stance. Feet set under shoulder width apart. Looks at a first pitch breaking ball down in the dirt for ball one. So Hyannis putting up a run in the bottom of the first inning on a Matthew Barefoot sacrifice fly, plating Tommy Jew from third. As the pitch to Wenzel swung on and sent high into the sky in left field. Coming in is the left fielder in Shedler McAvoy, calling everybody off and makes the catch for the first out. Davis Wenzel sending that one way up about a mile high. But getting under that one as Tyler Shedler McAvoy had no trouble coming in to make the catch. Just fighting just in between the sun and the shade as the trees continue to come over McKeon Park here. Covering almost all of left field up to this point. Just inches away from making its way onto the infield. Tommy Jew, the number 2 hitter, takes a ball down. Tommy recorded his fielder's choice in his first at bat. Swiped second, advanced to third on a wild pitch, then came home on the sac fly. So he cuts right through that pitch for strike one, swinging right over the top of that one from the right-hander in Zach Peak. Tommy has multiple hits in 6 of his last 10 games. Breaking ball from Peak runs away. He had a 6-game hitting streak going for a while. He had a 4-game streak of multi-hit games, but now it's been multi-hit games in 6 of his last 10. Has really been coming on as of the last 10 games. Swinging a foul by Jew, pops it out of play behind home. Tommy hitting .343 over his last 10 contests. A home run and 6 RBIs along with 8 runs scored. The righty in Peak gets his sign. Kicks and fires the 2-2 offering. Swinging a pop-up foul and out of play again. This one out of the first base side. Zach Peak puts his right hand to the dirt, swipes some dust across his body. Tommy making his way back into the batter's box. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Braves leading by a score of 2-1 in the bottom of the third. Pitch to Tommy Jew, swinging a ground ball foul up the first base line just to the right of the chalk. Matthew Barefoot awaits on deck. Tommy 2 for 4 in yesterday's game, along with the game-winning hit. That was a 2 RBI triple back in the bottom of the 8th inning. It was a 9-9 deadlock, and Tommy sent one out to the wall out in left center field. Was on his horse the whole way and slid into third to make it an 11-9 contest. The pitch from Peak, swing or called strike 3 to Tommy Jew. Looks at a breaking ball right on the outside corner. A little bit frustrated with the calls, shaking his head, walking back to the dugout as he's rung up by Bill Capozzolo. 0 for 2 on the night now is Tommy, but it'll bring up Matthew Barefoot. Base is empty and 2 gone for Hyannis. Wiggling that bat above his right shoulder is the Campbell outfielder. Swings at the first pitch and sends a towering pop-up on the right side into foul ground. Racing toward the bullpen is Lyle Lynn. Can't make the catch, sails over his head. 0-1 now to the hitter in Matthew Barefoot, who comes into today's contest second in the Cape League in average, second in on base, and tied for first in hits. And that's with him tailing off a little bit as of late. And that's not saying much, considering the season he's had. Tailing off for his standards is a lot different than the rest of the league at this point. A breaking ball from Peak misses down in the dirt. So Barefoot's 214 in his last 5 games, comes on a 3 for 14. Then when you look to his last 10, still sporting a 324 average. Takes another ball in the dirt from the right-hander in Zach Peak. The Barefoot in search of his first hit today. Winds and fires as the righty in Peak, and that misses upstairs with a heater. 3 balls and 1 strike to Matthew Barefoot. Came up with a sacrifice fly in the first inning. That's the lone Harbor Hawks run so far. Now the pitch, swinging a towering pop-up into left field again. This one chasing Tyler Shedler McAvoy a couple of steps in. Makes the catch, ranging back for it for the final out of the 3rd inning. So a lightning fast 3rd inning for both ball clubs. Bourne Braves go down 1-2-3. The Harbor Hawks go down 1-2-3. 2-1 Bourne the score through 3 innings of play. We'll be back for the top of the 4th in just a moment on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
We're back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Lucey coming to you for an Around the League update before the 4th inning gets started here. We'll keep it in the Western Division right now. The Wareham Gatemen trail the Cotulla Kettleers 2-0 down at Lowell Park. That game heading into the top of the 7th as we speak. Wareham still out front, 49 points to Hyannis' 47 in the Western Division. Over at Arnie Allen Diamond, this is a little bit of a warning for the Orleans Firebirds. The Falmouth Commodores lead the Brewster Whitecaps 2-0 as Orleans is about to get started down at Eldridge Park. Orleans looking to retake the 4th playoff spot in the Eastern Division with tonight's game. The Chatham Anglers and Harwich Mariners just getting underway as well. And now back to tonight's play-by-play with Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello.
Top half of the 4th here at McKeon Park. 2-1 Bourne still the score as the number 4 hitter in Ashton Bardzell swings at the first pitch from Cone and sends a ground ball past Seth Gray and into left field for a base hit. 1 pitch, 1 base knock for the Bourne Braves here in the 4th. Wasting no time is Ashton Bardzell picking up his 2nd hit of the night, just out of the outstretched glove of Seth Gray, moving a couple of steps to his left. Robert Marcello joins me back in the booth now, as Jake Gorella, the St. Louis right fielder, set for his 2nd at bat. Cone now from the stretch. 2-step lead for Bardzell over at first. Off speed, a called strike on the outside corner. Jake Gorella produced 2 RBIs the last time these two teams squared off. They were the only 2 runs the Bourne Braves scored, but it's what put them out to a 2-1 win in extra innings. As Cone counters with a fastball and it misses down in the dirt to even things at 1-1.
Cone had a very quick third inning. Let's see if he can do the same here in the fourth.
A 2-1 Bourne Braves walk-off win the last time these two squared off on a Gorilla RBI single. Breaking ball from Cone runs outside. But Gorilla came up with an RBI triple back in the 7th inning, which was against Zach Cone out at Doran Park. And a couple innings later, he comes through with the winning hit. Swings at that pitch and sends a ground ball up the line off the glove of Seth Gray, trickling into the bullpen on the left side. Making his way to third is Ashton Bardzell. Cruising into second is Gorilla with a no-out double, putting runners on second and third here in the top of the 4th inning.
Seth Gray there just off his glove there, allowing it to go past and stay in foul territory where Matthew Barefoot had to go all the way over there. You see he was more shaded out to center field. Getting 2 bases, though, is Gorilla.
Braves have recorded back-to-back hits here against the right-hander in Cone in the 4th. That'll bring up Lyle Lynn, who's been the deciding factor in this game. First baseman out of Arizona State. Vividly waving his bat and swings at the first pitch and sends a fly ball out to deep center field. Coasting back as Tommy Juice settles under it to make the catch. Scoring easily from third is Ashton Bardzell. Tagging up and moving to third is Jake Gorella. Throw was cut off by Davis Wenzel. Lyle Lynn comes through with his 3rd RBI of the night. A sacrifice fly makes it 3-1 Bourne.
Lyle in there, as you said, Lyle, responsible for all the runs that they've scored here tonight. Absolute laser out to center field there. Tommy G only had to back up a couple of steps, though, knowing it was going to go far away.
Now the hitter and Jake McKenzie digs in. Left foot behind the right. Takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of a trend here with the Bourne Braves' plan on offense against Zach Cone, as these guys have been going after a lot of first pitches, and it's resulted in their fair share of hits thus far. Cone misses upstairs to level the count. We saw it in the 2nd inning. Ashton Bardzell coming up with a double. And a Jake Gorella double in the 4th. Of course, the Lyle Lynn 2-run shot in the 2nd. And a lot of first pitch swinging. Squaring to bunt is McKenzie, but pulling back as the pitch is called a ball from Cone on a fastball. Of course, it hasn't been successful every time, but Harvey Shapiro clearly setting out a blueprint for his players in tonight's contest. And so far, it's put him out to a 2-run lead in the 4th. Gray even with the bag. The pitch to Jake McKenzie checks his swing and goes around. And this is not a Bourne Braves ball club that is really known for their offense. The only thing that stands out is their hit total with 352 coming into today, ranking 3rd in the league. Cone steps off the mound. But other than that, they're 9th in home runs, 7th in runs scored, and 6th in on base. And now the pitch to McKenzie. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and Zach Cone records a strikeout here in the top of the 4th. 2 down, runner on 3rd, and that'll bring up Tyler Shedler McAvoy. Cone records his 3rd punch out of the night. First time McKenzie's gone down on strikes. And now McAvoy, the Seton Hall left fielder, comes up with a runner on 3rd. Breaking ball from Cone's a called strike. McAvoy hasn't played a whole lot of games so far with the Bourne Braves, as the next breaking ball from Cone is in there on the outside corner for strike 2. Just 1 hit so far for the Seton Hall outfielder. We've got a runner on 3rd and 2 outs. Cone looking to keep this at a 2-run deficit for the Harbor Hawks. The next pitch, down low and in the dirt, blocked by Pedro Pages for ball 1. Infield back with 2 outs. Gray showing no hold to the runner at 3rd. That's Jake Gorella. Cone the windup. 1-2 pitch, fastball called strike 3, and down on strikes is Tyler Shedler McAvoy. Back-to-back strikeouts for the Central Michigan right-hander in Zach Cone, but not before another run comes across on a Lyle Lynn sacrifice fly to center field. 3-1 Bourne the score through 3.5 innings, and we'll take you back in the bottom of the 4th right after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello.
Four, 5, 6 due up for Hyannis, leading things off the Wright State third baseman in Seth Gray. Second time around, he'll see the right-hander in Zach Peak. Seth walked in his first at-bat, but was stranded at first to end the inning. The first pitch, off speed for a called strike. Seth, one of just two lefties, not just for the Harbor Hawks tonight, but in the entire ball game. Brady Lindsley, the other, playing first base. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss for strike two. But Bourne tonight, 9 righties in their lineup against the right-hander in Cone. Hyannis, meanwhile, with 7. Wind up in the 0-2 on the way, fastball high and away. But Bourne not just with one left-hand, or not just with no left-handers in the lineup, but only one left-handed hitter on the entire roster as we speak. 1-2 to Seth Gray. Fastball or off speed runs outside again to level the count. Only left-handed hitter for the Bourne Braves currently is Spencer Brickhouse out of East Carolina. He's got the night off tonight as a 2-2 to Seth Gray is fisted off the hands over to second base, fielded on a hop by Jake McKenzie, throws over to Lyle Lynn, and it's in time. There's one down in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Well, speaking of lefty hitters, besides Seth Gray, only Trevor Harbor's the only lefty on our team as well. So either team, both teams are very right-handed, heavy.
That'll bring up Pedro Pages. He's 0 for 1 today with a ground out to second. Pedro takes half a practice swing and digs in. First pitch to the FAU catcher is a called strike. Well, Jake McKenzie, for a kid who hasn't played a lot of games with this Bourne Braves team so far, has been really busy out on defense. Been a part of 5 putouts so far tonight. 0-1 pitch from Zach Peak runs outside to even the count at 1-1. Pedro scored twice yesterday in a 3-for-5 day. As the next pitch is a swing and a pop-up foul sailing out of play on the right side. Page is currently riding a 3-game hitting streak. He steps out of the box, puts 1 foot behind the batter's box. Now back in, ready to go. Pitch from Zach Peak, a breaking ball just outside. And that'll make the count 2-2. Well, waiting on deck is Todd Lott. Right-hander and Peak stares in. Gets his sign from Cooper Johnson. Pitch to Pages, fouled off behind home. These two teams making clockwork of this ball game. 6:55 p.m. the time. First pitch was just after 6. And we're already in the bottom of the 4th inning here at McKeon. 2-2 to Pages, swinging a chopper foul on the third base side. 3-1 the score. All 3 Braves runs held responsible of Lyle Lynn. 2-run shot in the second inning put him out to a 2-1 lead. And then a sacrifice fly back in the 4th. Just a half an inning ago, made it 3-1. Pitch to Pages, swinging a fly ball out to deep center field. Backtracking a couple of steps is Bardzell. Settles under it at the track and makes the grab for the second out. Well, Pages gave it a ride, but right in his tracks was the Hartford outfielder in Ashton Bardzell, had a beat on it right away and puts it away for the second out.
Allowed out at that. Page is absolutely mashing that ball out to deep center field. 394 out in center field. At first glance, thought it could have gone out.
And he's been really unlucky over the last couple of games. Of course, he had the 3-for-5 day yesterday, but you think back to 2 nights ago in Wareham, 2 straight at-bats, he hit balls right on the screws out to the left fielder, but he didn't have to move much in his tracks and took those balls away as hits from Pages as Todd Lott takes a ball upstairs. That was Jacob Goldfarb, the Wareham Gateman left fielder, a couple of nights ago. But Pages was squaring balls up left and right, but nothing falling in his favor. Next pitch to Lott misses outside for ball 2. Well, Zach Peaks allowed over 3 runs 3 different times this season. But so far, just a lone run for the Harbor Hawks. As that pitch to Lott misses downstairs. The Raging Cajun way ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. The next pitch from the right-hander in Zach Peak, and it's a called strike on the inside corner. Peak likes to work very quickly gets the ball back, and wastes no time in his delivery. Sets right at the letters. Rocks and fires the 3-1 to Lott, swinging a line drive down the right field line. Giving chase is the right fielder, and he can't get there. Gorilla fielding it on a couple of hops. Lott cruising into second base. The throw is cut off, and the Raging Cajun picks up his second hit of the ball game on its second with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Good piece there by Todd Lott, getting it right down the line out in right field. A double here with Eric Rivera now up. Hopefully can drive him in.
Only 2 hits so far today for the Harbor Hawks, but both coming off the bat of the man standing at second base in Todd Lott. And we've talked about it. He sure does like to hit it home. With that single back in the second inning, he extended his home hitting streak to 17 games. On its second, Rivera the hitter. The pitch from Peak. Fastball right at the letters for a called strike. Rivera grounded into a fielder's choice back in the second inning. Has hits in 5 of his last 7 contests. From the stretch is Peak. Pitch to Rivera, fastball down low. Keeping it in front of him is Cooper Johnson. Well, Eric Rivera, it's been an up and down season for the FAU outfielder. But one thing we've talked about a lot is he will not strike out. He puts the ball in play and tries to make productive outs in any way he can, or productive at bats in any way possible. The next pitch, a fastball spiked in the dirt by Zach Peak. Cooper Johnson chests it up to make it 2-1. Rivera just 9 strikeouts on the year. The only hitter among the qualifiers of the Harbor Hawks with single-digit punch-outs. Peak still setting right at the letters. From the stretch and the offering to Rivera. Misses up high, and the count's now 3-1. Eric currently with a .227 average. Looking to drive in Todd Lott and make it a 1-run deficit. 3-1 Bourne, the score in the bottom of the fourth. Pitch to Rivera, called strike, and the count runs full. Eric Rivera hitting .308 in his last 5 games. 6 foot, 185-pound outfielder, staring down Peak. The payoff pitch, swinging a ground ball out to Tyler Fitzgerald, coming a couple of steps in. Backhands it and throws across the diamond in time for the final out of the bottom of the 4th. Double from Todd Lott is washed away as the Harbor Hawks can't muster anything across, and the score remains 3-1 Bourne. Top of the 5th coming up in just a second. Due up, Cooper Johnson, Tyler Fitzgerald, and Anthony Prado when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Lyle, Goldstein, and Robert Marcello.
9-1-2 hitters due up for Bourne in the top of the fifth. The Braves still lead by a score of 3-1. Zach Cohn on the bump for inning number 5, and it'll be his second time seeing the Ole Miss catcher in Cooper Johnson. Cohn working from the windup. First pitch in to Johnson, a fastball just up and away. Johnson grounded out to second in his first at bat. Cohn's ready with the next offering. Swing and a miss for strike one. Cooper swings right through that pitch to level the count. And like we said, it has really been a rough go of it for the Ole Miss catcher. 9 hits on the summer. 1-1 from Zach Cohn. Fastball runs outside. 9 for 57 this summer with the Bourne Braves, and 1 for his last 26. Cohn giving him a long stare down. Johnson wiggling the bat in front of his shoulder. The next pitch, a fastball in. 3-1 now the count. Cohn so far with 1 walk on the day. Now gets a sign from Pages. 3-1 offering, swinging a pop-up foul just out of play behind home. Tyler Johnson getting that one off the fists and fighting it off. 3 balls, 2 strikes with nobody out. Hyannis today with just 2 hits, both from Todd Lott. 4 so far from Bourne. 3-2 offering, called strike 3 for out number 1. Cooper Johnson punches out for the first time tonight, and Zach Cohn records strikeout number 4 here in his outing. Make it 5 for the right-hander out of Central Michigan. Punched out McAvoy to end things in the 4th, and now he's got a handful of punch-outs.
3 straight strikeouts for Zach Cohn here, much better in the 4th and also to start the 5th.
Now he'll see the Braves' top of the lineup. Tyler Fitzgerald with an 0 for 2 day digs in, swings and misses through a first pitch breaking ball. Outside of Ashton Bardzell and Lyle Lynn, it's been a pretty easy go of it for the Central Michigan right-hander. But currently finds his team in a 3-1 deficit. Swing and a miss by Fitzgerald again. Counts now 0-2. Cohn looking for 4 straight strikeouts dating back to the last inning. Fitzgerald with a ground out and a fly out so far. That Cohn on the mound shakes off a sign from Pages. 0-2 pitch. It's a heater low and away for ball 1. Cohn continuing to work quickly. Sun starting to set here at McKeon Park. Breaking ball just outside to even the count at 2-2. Zach Cohn gasping, his mouth open a little bit displeased with that call, as Pages thought he stole a strike away from Fitzgerald. But now play back in set again. 2-2 the count, the pitch from Cohn. Fastball for a called strike 3. 4 straight punch outs for Zach Cohn make it 6 on the night for the Central Michigan right-hander. Fitzgerald's down on strikes, and there's 2 away here in the top of the 5th.
Another great pitch by Cohn. Still on his tear of strikeouts consecutively. Let's see if he'll be able to get out of this. Though the Harbor Hawks still only down by 2 runs.
And all of the last 4 strikeouts coming looking a backwards K to each of the last 4 Braves hitters as Anthony Prado takes a fastball away. 5 of the 6 strikeouts for Cone have been on backwards Ks. Only swinging strikeout came to Prado, the second batter of the game. Prado, the hitter now, swings and pops one foul behind home and out of play. Everybody playing straight up. Tommy Juice straight away in center. Pitch from Cone, a breaking ball, fought off and fouled away. Prado's 4 for his last 10. Comes into today hitting .324 in his last 10 contests. But Cone finds himself in a 1-2 count. Pitch on the way, swinging a foul off the mid of Pedro Pages, and it squiggles down the first base line. Quiet day here at McKeon Park, although a fairly decent crowd here on hand. Osprey's Nest about a third full down the left field line. Now Cone ready, the pitch on the way, swing and a miss for strike 3, and that'll do it for the Bourne Braves in the top of the 5th. Cone strikes out the side in order, 1, 2, 3, and now has 7 punch outs to his name through 5 innings. Harbor Hawks still trail 3-1, but we'll be back in the bottom of the 5th when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
To start things off in the bottom of the 5th inning is Brady Lindsley. I'm Robert Marcello, now taking over the play-by-play duties, while Lyle will join me in the color commentating role. Harbor Hawks are down 3-1 to start the bottom of the 5th. And the first pitch to start the bottom of the 5th is outside for a ball. Brady Lindsley on the day. 0 for 1 is the last time he got on. He got on with an error. That next pitch is sent out to left center field. On to catch it is Schneider McAvoy for the first out in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, Lindsley just flipping that one the other way. Chedler McAvoy taking a couple steps to his left, but a can of corn for the left fielder. And a quick first down for Zach Peak. We've talked about it all day so far, Rob. Both these pitchers working very quickly. Peak with just 1 run, Cone, of course, with 3, but this ball game has just flown by.
Taylor Garris now, the last time he was up, he grounded out into a double play. Peak definitely working, and so is Zach Cone. It is 7-10 here, already in the bottom of the 5th inning. Definitely a saving grace for us, Lyle, because last night it took 3 hours and 30 minutes. And the pitch, that is called high for a strike.
You know, it's funny. I think the last time I remember being a little bit displeased that my innings went so short, it was the first time the Braves and Harbor Hawks squared up. And then you remember what happened? The Harbor Hawks came back to win that game after trailing. And you were on the call for that.
Yes. In the pitch. That is a ground ball that will get past the third baseman, but over to the shortstop. A good throw there, but not in time. That will be a base hit for Taylor Garris. with 1 out. You're in the bottom of the 5th.
Garris got that one on the hands a little bit, hit it over to the left side. A good backhanded stop by Fitzgerald. Tried to make an off-balance throw, moving toward third base. Would have been a tough play to get Garris. But he almost had it. The throw was on target, even more surprisingly. But the Samford infielder beat it by about a step.
Now up the top of the order is Davis Wenzel. 1 out man over at first. And the pitch from Peak. That is called the strike right down the heart of the plate. That sweeping off speed pitch from Peak. 3-1 Bourne. If you're just joining us here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. And the next pitch into Wenzel. That is outside for a ball. Ball just curved way outside of the zone, almost got past the catcher and Johnson. Man still over at first, and Garris being covered by Lyle Lynn. And the pitch from Peak. That will hit Davis Wenzel in the back, and now there are 2 runners on. The Harborhawks trying to cut down this 2-run deficit here are in business now with Tommy Jew up.
And Wenzel jogging down to first. Luckily, he's okay. And I've got to say, Rob, especially over this last week or so, we've seen some breathtaking moments, and not in a good way when we're talking about hit by pitches. I mean, Matthew Barefoot's in the top 5 of the league in hit by pitches. Taylor Garris has been hit with 4 pitches in the last 3 games. Will Holland, we remember a couple of weeks ago, ended his season being hit by a pitch. And Wenzel right there. Luckily okay, but jogging down to first, you never like to see the sight of that. And it sounded fairly loud from up here.
It sure did, and Peaks, his day is done as the manager for the Braves coming out. A relief pitcher now will come on. We're going to allow him to warm up. 2 guys on, 1 out, 3-1 Bourne. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back. New pitcher on for the Bourne Braves with Tommy Jew up. Greer Holston. 2 men on, 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Scores 3-1 Bourne. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball to Tommy Jew. 2 important guys on here for the Harborhawks if they want to try to cut down this lead or even tie the game. Tommy Jew here with 1 big shot here would be able to take the lead. Pitch from Hilton. That is outside.
Well, Greer Holston on the summer, 3.43 ERA, 18 1/3 innings pitched. He's walked 11, struck out 13, and this will be appearance number 11 for him on the season.
Holston to Jew. That is in for a strike. Just catches the bottom part of the plate. Two guys still on. One out in the bottom of the fifth. After Tommy Jew, Matthew Barefoot will be up. And the pitch from Holston. That is outside for a ball. Infield for the Bourne Braves playing at double play depth. Wind blowing out in right center field, as you can see the American flag. And the pitch. That is fouled off. Tommy Jew in a big spot here.
And you got the Rebel battery on hand right now as Holston actually plays his college ball at Ole Miss. And then, of course, Cooper Johnson, Ole Miss catcher. They work together a good amount in their college season, to say the least.
And the pitch. That Tommy Jew hit is sent out to center field. On to catch it is Barzell. Tagging up from second base is Taylor Garris. And he'll now be at third. Runners at the corners for the Harbor Hawks.
Well, a productive out for Tommy. He gave that one a little bit of a ride out into the gap in right center. Not quite to the warning track. Barzell having to cover a little bit of ground, but an easy 90-foot tag for Taylor Garris from second to third.
Matthew Barefoot, one of the hottest hitters in Cape Cod all season long. Carried a 22-game hitting streak until just a couple of weeks ago. It dropped, but then since then, Matthew Barefoot has created little 4 or 5 game hit streaks then and there, but had the night off the other night, but back in the lineup. And the pitch. That is called a strike, inside low. Holston trying to get the Braves out of this one in the bottom of the fifth. They're leading by 2 runs. Both runners at first and third taking a lead. Throws back to first is Holston to Lyle Lynn, but Davis Wenzel is safe. He had to slide, but Lyle Lynn didn't even have to apply a tag. Runners at first and third taking pretty sizable leads. Matthew Barefoot up. And the pitch. That is sent out to center field. Matthew Barefoot, a fly ball. On to catch it is Barzell, and he does. After 5 innings, the score is 3-1. Bourne Harbor Hawks unable to get anything in the fifth. Squander a good opportunity. Bourne will be up in the top of the 6th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back to start the top of the 6th. Jared Triolo to lead things off. He is 0 for 2 on the day. And the pitch from Zach Cohn. Still on the mound for the Harbor Hawks, working pretty quickly. It is 7:21. Lights starting to come on here at McKeon Park. Next pitch, low. As this game's flown by, Lyle.
Yeah, absolutely. We're at about an hour and 20 minutes here, and we're already in the 6th.
And the pitch from Cone. That is outside for a ball. Page is trying to bring it back in the zone, but the home plate umpire didn't think so. Infield for the Harbor Hawks playing at regular depth. Ashton Bardzell is in the leadoff circle for the Bourne Braves, and that is ball 4, a leadoff walk for Jarrett Triolo to start the top of the 6th. Ashton Bardzell now up. Man at first, nobody out to start the top of the 6th. 3-1 Bourne. Zach Cone trying to get out of this 6th inning. He's pitched great so far here today, and for what the Harbor Hawks really needed, he's done a nice job after using a plethora of relief pitchers last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of guys getting taxed in last night's ball game, so they're trying to get some real innings out of Cone here.
First pitch to Cone into Bardzell is inside for a ball.
And, we haven't seen a lot of guys go 6 innings this summer, and it's not that common out here in the Cape. A usual outing for a starter is 4 to 5.
Pitch to Cone is fouled off by Bardzell. Bardzell, a lot of action out in center field here today. A bunch of putouts.
Bardzell is also tied for first in the Cape in triples.
And the pitch. That sweeping off-speed pitch right down the heart of the plate for a strike, just low. Bardzell bending his knees a little bit, thought he could be able to swing at that. Man over at first in Triolo, taking the lead off of first. And the pitch to Cone. That is just fouled off there. A security hack there by Bardzell. Infield for the Harbor Hawks playing a double play depth. Still taking the lead off of first is Triolo. And he goes way before the pitch is even out there. And Zach Cone not paying attention, and Triolo takes advantage.
Well, that's about as good of a jump as anybody can possibly get. Triolo was taken off way early. Nobody communicated to Zach Cone to step off the mound. And he stretched and fired the pitch. And, Triolo was down there before the ball even got to the plate.
And the pitch into Bardzell. That is a liner that will just go foul. Land right near the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Man over at second, though, in scoring position for Ashton Bardzell, who is 2 for 2 on the day. Taking the lead off of second is Triolo. And the pitch to Cone. That is foul. Will land right near Old Colony way. A lot of people come in that way to come to the game, or if you're just taking a walk. Good crowd here today at McKeon Park. Second last home game in the regular season. And the pitch. That is outside as the Harbor Hawks fans hopeful there will be a bunch of other games here at McKeon Park when the playoffs come around. Starts this weekend.
Well, they'll get at least one, but they're currently fighting to get 2 and grab one of those top 2 spots in the Western Division. Currently sitting second with 47 points, 2 behind the Gateman.
That next pitch is a ground ball to Taylor Garris, the right side of the field. And throws in time for the first out. But being able to move over to third is Triolo, and a great job by Bardzell. Situational baseball there, being able to push to the right side of the field. Runner advances.
Yeah, productive out right there from the hitter in Bardzell. A ground ball to the right side gave Triolo away to third, and now a runner 90 feet away from making it a 3-run lead.
And it appears that's just going to be the day for Zach Cone. And now a relief pitcher will come on. That'll be the day for Zach Cone. A great performance here this inning, giving the Harbor Hawks plenty of support. We're going to allow the relief pitcher to warm up. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Casey Queener, the new pitcher for the Hyannis Harborhawks. Now up is number 7, Jake Gorella. Runner at third. And the pitch from Queener. That is sent out to low right field. Catching it is Rivera. Not going home there. And a big break for the Harborhawks there is the low fly ball in between the right fielder and the second baseman. The run did not come home. Still a 3-1 game.
And he almost bobbled it on the transfer, but Rivera doing a nice job recovering to keep the ball in his mitt. Not too hardly hit from the hitter in Gorella. Rivera having to come way in for it and make the grab on the run and right at about the chest level, but really not much of a chance for Triolo to score from third.
Lyle Lynn now up, responsible for all 3 RBIs today. That's sweeping off speed pitches. In for a strike. Lyle Lynn has a couple words with the home plate umpire. Steps back in the batter's box and will resume play. And the pitch. That is outside of Lyle Lynn. Lyle Lynn with a 2-run shot and then a sacrifice fly to be able to score a run home. Responsible for all 3 runs today. Next off-speed pitch, swing and a miss by Lyle Lynn, way in front of it. Practically was at the end of home plate, right before where the grass starts, and then a couple of feet to the pitcher. And the pitch. That is just outside for a ball. Looked like it was going to catch the outside edge of the plate, but the home plate umpire didn't think so. Infield for the Harborhawks playing at regular depth. Seth Gray and Brady Lindsley just playing a little in. And the pitch. That is a ground ball to the shortstop, Wenzel. He gets it on a backhand. Throws it on to first, and a great play by Davis Wenzel. The Harborhawks are able to get out of it here in the top of the 6th. They'll be up in the bottom of the 6th. It is 3-1 still Bourne. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein.
Welcome back. The first pitch in the bottom of the 6th inning is call the ball to Seth Gray. Holston still on the mound for the Bourne Braves. The 1-0 pitch to Gray. That is called a strike, counts even at 1-1. One pitch into Seth Gray. That is a swing and a miss at the off-speed pitch. Nobody out in the bottom of the 6th, 3-1 Bourne. And the 1-2 pitch. That is sent high out to right field, but quickly will get down and will be caught by the right fielder in Garella for the first out of the bottom of the 6th.
Coming off just into foul territory, moving a good decent amount over to his left. Straddled the chalk out in right field, but a pretty easy play for Jake Garella out in right field. Seth Gray got under that one and sent it way up into the evening sky.
Pedro Page is now up. On the day, he's 0 for 2. And the first pitch of this at bat is in low for a ball. Action going on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen, but nothing really in Bourne's. Up after Pedro Pages is Todd Lott. And the pitch into Pages is sent foul. Johnson had no idea where that ball was, so he didn't even bother looking for it. Pedro Pages protecting a 2-strike count. One out in the bottom of the 6th. In the pitch into Pages. That is swing and a miss. There, but now there is 2 strikes. Thought that would have been strike 3, but I was wrong about the count. Now 2 strikes on Pedro Pages. One out in the bottom of the 6th. And the pitch in from Greer. That is strike 3 call. Got him looking. Greer Holston with a strikeout. 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, that is first strikeout of the night, and he really just froze Pages with that one. FAU catcher just watched it go by for out number 2, and he's now had an 0 for 3 day.
Todd Lott now up, and if Todd Lott is able to get on, then it'll be Eric Rivera. 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th, 3-1 Bourne. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball. Johnson trying to frame it back in the zone, but the home plate umpire did not fart for it. And the pitch. That is in low. The home plate umpire on that first pitch did not fall for Johnson's tricks there as he tried to bring it back up in the zone. And the next pitch into Lott. That is a swing and a miss, that high fastball from Greer Holston now. 2 strikes on Todd Lott. And the pitch. That is called a ball. Three-one count into lot. Eric Rivera in the on-deck circle more than likely could get an opportunity if Todd Lott walks. And the pitch. That is sent foul right near the Bourne Braves bullpen, but will land right near the tool shed here at McKeon Park. Sun's starting to set here in Hyannis. Still a pretty good crowd on hand. Now a full count 3-2 on Todd Lott. Nobody on, though, so no one will be advancing. And the 3-2 pitch. That is outside for ball 4 and a 2-out walk. Hopefully we can get the Harbor Hawks going here, as now Eric Rivera is up.
It's been kind of a tough day for the plate, at the plate for the Harbor Hawks offensively, but one bright spot, undoubtedly Todd Lott. 2 hits halfway to the cycle for that matter, and then picks up a walk here in the bottom of the 6th with 2 outs. A good job by Todd. 2 strikes. He got some breaking stuff off the plate. He held up, didn't chase anything, and he gets himself on base.
And the first pitch into Eric Rivera. That is called a strike. Inside low. If he's able to get on, Brady Lindsley's waiting for him in the on-deck circle. And then after that will be Taylor Garris, and then the top of the order if the Harbor Hawks start getting on a little run here. They are down by 2 runs. And the next pitch, Todd Lott goes, throws down to second base, and he is safe. Not in time. A good throw by Johnson, though. He's been off with a couple of throws today, but a good throw there. Almost had him, but Todd Lott, with his speed, being a big guy, being able to get all the way down there.
And he got a good jump, too, and then some good closing speed right at the end. He turned on the jets a little bit and got in by just a little bit, got that left hand onto the bag.
And the pitch into Rivera. That is called a strike there. Rivera has to back out of the backstop. Had to step out of the batter's box to be able to just give himself a second to be able to regroup after he didn't like that strike call. Taking a lead off his second is Todd Lott. Eric Rivera trying to get him home, trying to cut down this 3-1 deficit. And the pitch. That is swing and a miss. Strike 3, the Harbor Hawks squander yet another opportunity. Bourne will be up in the top of the 7th. It is 3-1 after 6 innings. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Start things off in the top of the 7th inning. It is 3-1 Bourne. Casey Queener still on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. Jake McKenzie is up. To lead things off in the top of the 7th, this is my solo inning. First pitch high for a ball. And the on-deck circle is Tyler Shedler McAvoy. A long name to pronounce. That next hit is sent out high out to left field, and it is caught by Matthew Barefoot. A great grab. There had to go all the way to the wall, almost knocking into the wall. There now will be the first out to start the top of the 7th inning. Tyler Shedler McAvoy now up 0 for 2 on the day. And the first pitch into McAvoy. That is in low. Casey Queener doing a nice job coming out of the bullpen so far. Trying to go 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th. That next pitch is a ground ball to Davis Wenzel. He has it, throws it on to first for the second out. 2 quick outs for the Harbor Hawks. Trying to get their guys back up to plate, as they are down by 2 runs. Cooper Johnson now up, the catcher today for the Bourne Braves. Action going on in the Bourne Braves bullpen. No action in the Harbor Hawks, though, as they're going to allow Casey Queener to be able to finish things off here in the 7th and maybe the 8th inning. And the first pitch. That is in low inside for a ball. Two quick outs in the top of the 7th. That next pitch is just outside for a ball. And the pitch from Queener. That is in low, about at the same spot that last pitch was at. Harbor Hawks trying to get their guys back in the dugout, hitting again as they're down by 2. That next fastball is called for an outside strike. 3-1 here from McKeon Park. The Bourne Braves are leading. Bourne is out of a playoff spot. That is ball 4 and a 2-out walk. Here is the Bourne Braves trying to play spoiler here, as if they can't make it into the playoffs, they want to spoil it for somebody else. The Harbor Hawks are currently in 2nd place, but trying to get them back to 3rd. Top of the order now, back up, Tyler Fitzgerald. After Fitzgerald in the on-deck circle is Anthony Prado. And the pitch is tried to be bunt by Tyler Fitzgerald, surprising with 2 outs. That pitch goes foul. Pedro Pages quickly able to get it, though, but it went foul by the time he tried to get it. Runner over in Johnson. There tried to steal first base. Throws back to first. Not even a tag by Brady Lindsley. And the pitch. That gets past Pedro Pages, and that will be a pass ball. Runner gets to second base. Now runner in scoring position. Pages and Queener now meeting out on the mound. 2 outs still in the top of the 7th inning. It is 3-1 Bourne. Man over at second, and Johnson taking a small lead off of second base. Tyler Johnson is up to bat. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball, low inside. To Tyler Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald in the day is 0 for 3. Taking the lead off a second is Johnson. And the pitch. That is called high for a ball. Now action starting in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Big spot here late in this game. Starbucks trying to get out of this one. Queener in the set. And the pitch. That is in for a strike there. Tails right back in the strike zone. A good pitch there. Fitzgerald freezing on that one. Wasn't expecting that pitch. In the on-deck circle is Anthony Prado, and then after him is Jared Triolo. Harborhawks just trying to keep it at this one. And the pitch. That is a pitch that will land right off of Queener's glove. He'll be safe over at first, unable to get it in time, and a broken bat there. Almost hits Casey Queener, but he's okay. And now there'll be runners at the corners with 2 outs, with now Anthony Prado up. Anthony Prado now up the DH today for the Bourne Braves. In a big spot here, the first pitch. That sweeping off-speed pitch in for a strike. It is 7:48 in Hyannis in Eastern Time. Next pitch into Prado was outside for a ball. Action continuing to go down in the Harborhawks bullpen, while there's no action in the Bourne Braves bullpen. They are up by 2 runs. In the pitch. That is in low. Now Pedro Pages at first thought about going out to visit Casey Queener, but quickly just goes back and throws him the ball. Runners at the corners, 2 outs, 3-1 Bourne. Sun setting here in Hyannis. And the 0 pitch. That is a ground ball to the third baseman, and Seth Gray throws it on to second base to Harborhawks. Able to escape a jam. They'll be up in the bottom of the 7th inning. It is 3-1 Bourne. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harborhawks on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. We're bringing you back to the booth, but first, it's down to the sidelines with Dani Terzer.
The Harborhawks have gone 3-6-1 in their last 10 games, and as we're nearing the end of the season, many of the players are getting tired, but Coach Gaspin sat them down to encourage his players, telling them that they're here, and while they're here, they might as well give it all they've got. We've seen a spark in them recently, a desire and a want for that playoff push. They had a 6-run push late against Wareham, a comeback win yesterday against Orleans. So just a few more innings to go here tonight. We'll see if they can light that spark one more time and come out with a win.
Thanks, Dani. She's our sideline reporter. Does an excellent job. You can see her on our YouTube page as she conducts pregame and postgame interviews. Able to talk to Coach Gassman. Being able to pick his brain on some late season magic, hopefully for the Harborhawks, as they will make an appearance in this 2018 playoffs. Brady Lindsley lead things off in the bottom of the 7th inning. Holster still on the mound for the Braves. And the first pitch to start the bottom of the 7th. That is in for a strike. And the pitch. That is swing and a miss there by Brady Lindsley. Action going on in the Bourne Braves bullpen. And the pitch. That is inside low. Ball gets past Johnson, but no one on base, though. Brady Lindsley still up. In the on-deck circle is Taylor Garris. And the pitch. That is inside for a ball. Brady Lindsley trying to get the leadoff man on for the Harbor Hawks, as the Harbor Hawks are down by 2 runs, 3-1. And the pitch. That is a ball high. Lindsley being very patient at the plate. Stepping back in the batter's box is Brady Lindsley. And the pitch into Brady Lindsley. That is ball 4 and a leadoff walk for the Harbor Hawks. Trying to get some late inning magic here at McKeon Park. And now Taylor Garris is up. After Taylor Garris, the top of the order with Davis Wenzel would be up. And now a new relief pitcher will come on for the Bourne Braves. Taylor Garris will have to take a little time. So we're going to allow that new relief pitcher to come up. It is 3-1. The Bourne Braves will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Nick Morielli, the new pitcher for the Bourne Braves. Taylor Garris is up. Man over at first is Brady Lindsley after getting a leadoff walk. 3-1 Bourne. In the bottom of the 7th, nobody out. And the first pitch from the new pitcher. That is a ground ball to the shortstop. He has it, but will take it right off the chest, and there will now be 2 guys on. A potential costly mistake there by the shortstop. And Fitzgerald. Now the Harbor Hawks have 2 guys on. Davis Wenzel, the top of the order, now up. The infield for the Bourne Braves at double play depth. That would be awarded a base hit to Taylor Garris. And the first pitch into Wenzel is in low for a ball. Wenzel on the day is 0 for 1. He was walked in the bottom of the first inning and then was hit by a pitch in the bottom of the fifth inning and then flew out in the bottom of the third. And the pitch into Wenzel. That is a chopping ground ball that will go to the third baseman, throws it on to second. And a forced play, runners at the corners, though, with one out. Wenzel with his speed. Not a chance over at second to be able to throw it on to first. Tommy Jew now up, runners at the corners, one out. 3-1 Bourne. The Harbor Hawks trying to cut into that lead. As the Harbor Hawks are buying for playoff position, why the Bourne Braves really have nothing to lose because they're out of the playoff spot trying to play spoiler here on the road late in the season. And the first pitch into Tommy Jew from the relief pitcher is a liner right out to center field. He's able to catch it. The runner does come home. It is now 3-2 and a sac fly there by Tommy Jew. And a great catch there by Bartzell. The trainer for the Bourne Braves now running out to see how Ashton Bartzell is. We'll have to tend on him, and as now we continue this broadcast here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, Matthew Barefoot's going to be up. One of the hottest hitters in Cape Cod this season. A couple nights ago, broke his consecutive getting on base streak. Up to that point, he got on base every moment of the season until that game just a couple of nights ago, and Matthew Barefoot had to sit out the rest of a game in Wareham and then had the night off last night and now back in the lineup here in a big spot. Man over at first, though, Wenzel, he was able to not advance, and Barzell will be all right. And the manager for the Braves and the trainer for the Bourne Braves now will run back to the dugout, and we're going to resume play. Johnson and the home plate umpire just having some conversation. They're looking at Barzell, but that's going to have to stop because they're going to start play up again. And a great play there by Ashton Barzell. Had to stretch out to get that one. If that got past him, Davis Wenzel would have been able to get home there in a risky decision there by Barzell, but it worked out. Matthew Barefoot now up. Throws back to first. He'll be safe, though. Thank you for everyone listening tonight here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. And the pitch now into Matthew Barefoot. But has to throw back to first, though. Taking lead off first is Wenzel. Being covered over at first by Lyle Wynn. And the pitch. That is sent out to right field. That will be on to catch it. And that will be a balk as now Wenzel will be able to go down to second base. And interesting tale of events there. It's a late call by the second base umpire. There, Matthew Barefoot gets second life, though, as that would have been the third out of the inning. Runner at second, though, and Wenzel. Matthew Barefoot with essentially another at bat here. The manager for the Braves unhappy with this call. The manager and the relief pitcher just meeting out to discuss some things. The manager for the Bourne Braves, though, not happy with that call and had a couple of choice words from the home plate umpire on the way out to meet with his pitcher. Still the bottom of the seventh. Going back to the dugout will be the manager. Matthew Barefoot back up to the plate. Getting second life here after a just a little lazy fly ball out to right field. Looked like that was going to be the third out. And the pitch into Barefoot. That is in low. Good stop by Johnson, though. Taking lead off a second is Wenzel. Action going on in both bullpens. And the pitch into Barefoot. That is called a strike outside part of the plate. You're in the bottom of the seventh. 3-2 Bourne. Narrowly holding on to a lead here at McKeon Park. Still a pretty good crowd here in the night sky here in downtown Hyannis. In the pitch into Barefoot. That is in low for a ball. Infield for the Bourne Braves playing at regular depth. Seth Gray in the on-deck circle if Matthew Barefoot's able to get on. And the pitch into Matthew Barefoot. That is a ground ball that will go foul. And Bobby Melly, the interim manager for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, able to catch that ball. A former player, the coach Chad Gassman. Wenzel taking a small lead off a second. Matthew Barefoot. More than likely MVP of the Cape Cod Baseball League if he still holds up. And in the pitch. That is in low for a ball. Nick Morelli. Thought that was going to be strike three. And the pitch into Matthew Barefoot from Morelli. That is in for a ball four. There, Johnson says a couple of words to the first base umpire. And now Seth Gray will be up. Runners at first and second, though. Still 2 outs. Seth Gray last night hit a 2-run shot that made all the difference. That got the Harbor Hawks to lead, and they never looked back. And the pitch to Seth Gray. That is high for a ball. Now no action in the Bourne Braves bullpen. They're going to let Morelli finish this one out in the bottom of the seventh. And the pitch to Seth Gray. That's sent out to high right field. That will kiss it goodbye. And it is not, as it landed off the wall there. And another run comes home. It is now 4-3 for the first time this evening. The Harbor Hawks are in the lead, and I thought that was a home run. It landed high off the blue wall there. Seth Gray thought it was a home run as well, but he kept trotting there. Maybe could have gone all the way to third base. Knowing and now the Harbor Hawks are in the lead. Pedro Page is now up. And that balk there coming back to haunt the Bourne Braves. Looked like they were going to be able to get out of this inning. But not so fast. Seth Gray with another big hit. Back-to-back nights getting the Harbor Hawks in the lead. And the pitch to Pedro Pages. That sweeping off-speed pitch in for a strike. If Page is able to get on, Todd Lott is in the on-deck circle. 4-3 Hyannis. First time today, they are in the lead. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball. And the next pitch into Pedro Pages from Morelli. That is in low for a ball. Todd Lott in the on-deck circle. Action continuing to go on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. They're letting Morelli finish this one out in the bottom of the seventh. No one come to save him, as he allows the Harbor Hawks to have their first lead of the evening. And the pitch into Pages. That is called a strike there. Pages bends his knees, doesn't like that call. Stepping back in the batter's box is Pedro Pages. Man over at second and Seth Gray. Not taking a big lead. And the next pitch. That is in low for a ball. Inside. In the pitch. That is fouled off. They're in a big spot. The Harbor Hawks are up by 1 run, but could use another run to support their pitching staff, who's done a really good job so far today. And the pitch to Pages. That is sent high in the air. Under it is Johnson. And he is able to catch it after flying right down to the ground for the third out. A long seventh inning here. Lyle will join me back in the booth in the top of the eighth. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Chad Gaspin making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
To start things off in the top of the 8th inning, a new pitcher for the Harborhawks, Jacques Pichou. On the mound, Lyle joins me back in the broadcast booth. A long solo inning for me for sure, Lyle.
And an eventful one, too, obviously highlighted by a 2 RBI double from Seth Gray to give the Harborhawks the lead back. But for the left-hander and Jacques Pichou making his 4th appearance of the summer, has thrown 3 1/3 innings. No runs allowed up to this point, has walked 1 and struck out 2.
Jared Triolo to lead things off in the top of the 8th inning. 4-3 Harborhawks. Definitely a different game, a different buzz here at McKeon Park. That first pitch of the outing for Pichou is called outside for a ball. Infield for the Harborhawks playing at regular depth to start things out, no shifting. That next pitch is sent high in the air out to the right fielder in Rivera. He is able on to catch it though. At first, had no idea where that one was, but Pedro Pages all the way out behind the plate here, told Rivera where to go.
He had some good communication between Pedro and the outfielder in Rivera, also his college teammate at school, but good communication because he clearly lost it up in the lights as it was a high towering pop-up from Triolo, but eventually he found it in his tracks and just put it away for the first out.
Now up is Ashton Bardzell, 1 out in the top of the 8th. And the pitch from Pichou. That is in for a strike. 4-3 Harborhawks if you're joining us here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. A very much different game from when you probably last listened to when the Harborhawks were down. Next off-speed pitch is in the dirt for a ball.
And we've talked about it, Rob, but these scenarios favor Hyannis and big time. Undefeated this summer when leading after 7 innings, and that's where they sit right now, 4-3 in the 8th.
Next pitch from Pichou. That is a ground ball to the third baseman, and Seth Gray. It goes right under his glove, and a 1-out base runner for the Bourne Braves, down by 1 run.
Just came up on it a little bit fast, and Seth Gray was moving slightly in and off to his left to try and retrieve that ball, but came up on it just a little bit quickly as it trickles into left field.
Jake Gorella now up. 1 out in the top of the 8th. Infield now, the Harborhawks playing at double play depth. In the on-deck circle is Lyle in, trying to avoid him, as he could change this game with 1 swing of the bat. And the first pitch from Pichou is in low in the dirt. Good stop by Pedro Pages, though, not allowing anyone to advance. Action now beginning again in the Harborhawks bullpen. Appears to be Kyle Kemp out there. And the pitch from Pichou. That is an outside strike there, a fastball. Gets in the outside part of the plate. Seth Gray playing a little back over at third. Wenzel and Garrison double play position, while Brady Lindsley covering the man over at first. Throws back over to first, almost hits the ground, but Lindsley was able to get it. The last time the Harborhawks hosted the Bourne Braves, there was a downpour for a couple of minutes. That off-speed pitch swing and a miss, and the Bourne Braves broadcasters had to come in and go to the other side of our kind of broadcasting, our press box level. And I asked them, I said, well, are you guys going to try to broadcast up here? They said, well, no, we'll just stay here. But then they were able to go back out, and they were able to do the rest of the game, which was very fortunate for them. That next pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. There for the second out in the top of the 8th inning.
A good pitch from Jacques Pichou, too. Some breaking stuff, getting the hitter and Gorella fooled there, right way out in front of it. And second out for the left-hander out of Austin P. State. It's got a tough task at hand, though, Rob, that's for sure. Lyle Lynn has been on fire tonight.
He sure has, responsible for all 3 of their runs that Bourne has scored this evening. And Pichou definitely has to be careful here of Lyle Lynn. Goes back to first. Lyle Lynn, well, he's been non-existent in all the other times we've played him, but today he's really been a big hitter for the Bourne Braves.
He had a 3-hit game the first time he squared off, but you're right that the last couple he's been pretty silent. But that average that he sports not reflective of his play.
That first pitch is fouled off right near the Bourne Braves dugout, but everything's all right in there as they have a netting protecting them.
I mean, he's only hitting 232 this summer. He came into the day hitting 225. Lyle Lynn, there's a reason this kid's already been drafted twice. He hit over 300 in his sophomore year at ASU.
Chuck Pichu playing close attention over to Ashton Bardzell. And the pitch. Swinging and misses that high fastball is Lyle Lynn. And Pichu trying to get out of this one with still a 1-run lead. Big spot here late in this game. Harbor Hawks trying to preserve that second place spot and trying to put pressure on the Wareham Gateman. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball. Infield for the Harbor Hawks playing at regular depth. 2 outs in the top of the 8th. 4-3. Harbor Hawks. Goes back over to first. Jacques Pichu misplaced his jersey today, so instead of wearing his regular number, he has to wear number 12. Not a bad number to wear here around these parts, though. Next pitch is fouled off for a strike, but will not count because it's a foul ball. Action continuing to go on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen, but no action in the Bourne Braves one, though. And the next pitch to Lyle Lynn is a ground ball that will go foul. The manager for the Bourne Braves, the third base coach, throws it back over to the Harbor Hawks bench. Taking a lead off of first is Bardzell. He got on with an error by Seth Gray. That next pitch is fouled off. Lyle Lynn did the Adrian Beltre where he got on his knee and tried to hit it.
Yeah, he's kind of a free swinger, Lyle Lynn. I mean, he'll chase after a lot of stuff. His strikeout rate was pretty high in his freshman year. Cut it down in his 2018 campaign, but some guys for life are just going to be free swingers. I mean, there's plenty of guys at the big league level that fit in that category, and Lynn just seems to be one of those guys that likes to chase a lot of stuff.
And the pitch. That is in low for a ball. Lynn doesn't offer at that one, though. Pretty patient hitter at that, Lyle.
Right there he was for sure, and he took one down in the dirt from Pichu. But he's got to battle back. 2 strikes and 2 outs here in the 8th. Hyannis still up.
Bardzell taking the lead off of first. Lindsley covering. And the pitch from Pichu. That is fouled off.
And he's a free swinger, but he sure fights off a lot of pitches, and that's the good type of free swinger that you like to see. And Lyle Lynn, so far, anything close to the plate, he's gotten a piece of it, still trying to find his pitch.
In the on-deck circle is Jake McKenzie. If Lyle Lynn chooses to get on, and the pitch. That sweeping off-speed pitch goes foul, and Lyle Lynn continuing to fight off this 2-strike count.
He's about to see the 10th pitch of the at-bat upcoming.
This crowd excited here at McKeon Park after the Harbor Hawks take a 4-3 lead, and the pitch. That is a swing and a miss, but fouled off Pedro Pages. Hits off his hand, but he'll be all right. Quickly just grabs his glove and we'll continue this battle. It looked like it was going to be strike 3 and the ball got past Pages, but it was actually fouled off.
And again, he just continues to fight off everything, getting a little piece of anything coming near the plate.
The next pitch is Grounded right past Seth Gray's glove, and now there'll be runners at first and second on a long at bat there. Lyle in is able to get a base hit.
How about that? An 11 pitch at bat for the Sun Devil. I mean, he fought off so many pitches, and it was still only a 2-2 count. And then he just pokes one right over toward the left side past the outstretched glove of Seth Gray. And the Braves have runners on first and second here. They're putting together a little bit of a rally themselves.
Coach Korn now out to talk to Jacques Pichou. And that will be the day for Jacques Pichou. A new guy will come on for the Harbor Hawks. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Kyle Kemp, the new pitcher for the Harbor Hawks, still in the top of the eighth inning, trying to search for that final third out. And Lyle, after a very short first couple of innings here, the game's kind of slowed down.
Yeah, absolutely. But the Braves rallying here, runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Jake McKenzie. Now up first pitch. That is called a strike outside part of the plate.
Kyle Kemp this summer making his 12th appearance, 10 2/3 innings pitched, 3.37 ERA, 6 walks, and 10 strikeouts.
The Bourne Braves trying to tie this one. Here as they let the lead a little slip away from them if they are up 3-0. That next pitch gets past Pedro Pages, but the runner at second does not advance. Lyle's still over at first, though. Being in conversation with Brady Lindsley. Not being covered at either or second or first base. And the next pitch from Kemp is sent high out in the air to left field, and that will go foul. Almost close to a home run there, but goes foul.
And Barefoot giving chase, moving to his right and toward the line. It looked like it had a chance to stay in fair ground, but it just sailed to the left of the chalk. Much to the favor of Kyle Kemp and the Harbor Hawks, as it's just a long strike.
More action going on the Harbor Hawks bullpen. And the next pitch from Kemp is outside for a ball. Still 4-3 here at McKeon Park in downtown Hyannis. Harbor Hawks trying to get out of this jam with still a 1-run lead. And the pitch. That is fouled off by McKenzie. Jake McKenzie trying to drive this guy in, trying to tie this game. And the pitch. That is a ground ball that will get past Kemp. And the bases now will be loaded. Kyle Kemp thought he'd be able to make a play at first, but just hit off the back part of his shoe and bounces in the middle. But the runner over at second is not unable to score from home.
He kept trying to keep it in front of him. He couldn't quite do so. A little bit of a late reaction. And he tried to recover and make the play over to first in time, but the speed of McKenzie getting down the line loads the bases.
The bases are now loaded for Tyler Shedler McAvoy. Here as Pages now will meet Kemp out in the mound. Ray Korn now to come on to talk to Kyle Kemp. 2 outs with the bases loaded. 4-3 Harbor Hawks. Everyone will reset here from McKeon Park as a mound visit ensues. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and Lyle a big spot here for the Harbor Hawks trying to get out of this. And a new pitcher now will come on for the Harbor Hawks. That'll be the day for Kyle Kemp. We're going to allow him to warm up. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Works Media copyright.
Riley Self, new pitcher for the Harbor Hawks. Bases are loaded, 2 out. 4-3 Harbor Hawks. Still up is Tyler Shedler McAvoy. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball. Bases are loaded, 2 out. And the pitch from Self. That is a ground ball that will not get down. A great play by Eric Rivera to be able to get the 3rd out of this inning. A long top of the 8th inning. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the bottom of the 8th. Still with a 1-run lead. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Todd Lott now up to lead things off in the bottom of the 8th. Harbor Hawks are up by 1 run. It is 4-3. Todd Lott trying to add another insurance runner, just trying to get on base to lead things off in the bottom of the 8th. Eric Rivera in the on-deck circle. And the first pitch. That is in low for a ball. No action in the Harbor Hawks bullpen, though, currently. No action in the Braves bullpen either. And the pitch. That is in low for a ball. Morelli still on the mound for the Bourne Braves. He was on in the bottom of the 7th inning. Harbor Hawks hope this is the last time they'll be up today, as they'll go into the top of the 9th inning still with a lead, trying to add a couple insurance runs here in the bottom of the 8th. And the next pitch is grounded right up to the pitcher. Takes it right off the top edge of his foot, bounces right up to him, being able to throw on to first base. And Lyle, we don't normally see that.
That's quite the put out for Morelli. I mean, he takes it off his foot, which isn't the most uncommon thing in the world, but it was almost like he kicked it up to himself, waited for it to come down. He bare hands it, and then he fires over to Lynn at first base. Almost looked like something you'd see in a game of hacky sack.
Sure would look that way, as that might be the first time I think I've ever seen that before. You see freaky situations where it hits off of somebody's glove, or, you never know. But the first pitch into Eric Rivera is in for a strike.
Well, that's why you come to the ballpark every day, isn't it?
That's very true. Very true. You definitely see new things every single day, especially through this long season that we've had. And the pitch. That is inside for a ball. Crazy to think about, Lyle, when you look back at it just in a split second. We're already at the end of the regular season.
It's unbelievable how fast it goes by, and it's unbelievable how fast things have changed. Remember back on opening night, some kid named Matthew Barefoot hit a pinch hit home run in a blowout game, and look where he's at now.
Front runner for the MVP honor. That next is outside for a strike.
And that lineup, you remember that lineup opening night was so different. I mean, there was a handful of guys, Garris, Rivera were a couple that were in that opening night lineup, but it's unbelievable also the roster change that goes from the start to the end of the season.
Things changed for sure. That next pitch into Rivera is in low for a ball. Action now beginning in the Bourne Braves bullpen. And the next pitch into Rivera from Morelli is a liner out to the right field. They're able to get down, and Eric Rivera has a base hit. With one out in the bottom of the eighth.
And he does a good job with that one, staying the other way with it, just poking it out to right field against the right-hander in Morelli. And Eric Rivera finds himself on at first base. It'll be the second time he's reached tonight, but the first time cleanly with a base hit.
Brady Lindsley now up in the on-deck circle is Taylor Garris. Taking the lead off of first is Rivera. Only up by 1 run is the Harbor Hawks. Throws back to first. Rivera, though, does not need to slide. He is safe. No tag applied either is Lyle Lynn. Rivera still taking a small lead off of first. And the pitch into Brady Lindsley. That is a ground ball to the shortstop. He'll throw it on to second. Throw it on to first, and that will be the third out of the inning. It is still 4-3 Harbor Hawks. They're going to be on defensively in the 9th inning, trying to win this one. Bourne will be up in the top of the 9th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Dani Diorgio now up the pinch hit for Cooper Johnson. After him, the top of the order will be up with Tyler Fitzgerald. Riley Self still on the mound to start the top of the 9th. First pitch right down the heart of the plate for a strike. 0-1 count into DRGO. Next pitch is fouled off and will land right near the batting practice turtle here at McKeon Park, beyond the Bourne Braves dugout and the supply closet. And the next pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3 for the first down, the top of the 9th. And Riley Self with another strikeout.
He does a good job keeping DeGiorgio off balance there. A quick first out in the top of the 9th, but now he's going to see the top of the order. And Rob, this is definitely an important game if you're the Harbor Hawks in terms of playoff seeding. Wareham and Katuitt tied tonight, so that one a 4-4 draw. So each of them will gain a point, but Hyannis a chance to gain a little bit of ground and create some edge with Katuitt.
First pitch into Fitzgerald is lined out right down Old Colony path here at McKeon Park. Fitzgerald, the leadoff man for the Bourne Braves. After him will be up Anthony Prado. And the next pitch, that is in for a strike. And wow, that's pretty important that those two teams did tie.
Yeah, absolutely. And then along with that, Falmouth's up big on Brewster right now at home. And Falmouth currently trailing Hyannis by 2 points. So a win tonight for the Harbor Hawks keeps their ground with the Commodores as well, because they currently sit in second place. And obviously that number 2 seed, you get the extra home game in the playoffs.
Self now pitches to Fitzgerald. That is outside for a ball. 1 out in the top of the 9th. 4-3 Harbor Hawks. Here in a big late season matchup. Next pitch from South. That is sent high out to right field, where Eric Rivera is under it to catch it for the second out. In the top of the 9th, now down to 1 out left for the Bourne Braves. Tried to come here tonight on the road trying to play spoiler for the Harbor Hawks, but unless if Prado's able to get on, that's not going to happen. If he's able to get on, Jarrett Triolo would be up. And the next pitch, that is in for a strike. That off-speed pitch, moving back in the zone, just catches the outside part of the plate. Next pitch from South. That is a swing and a miss at that outside slider there. Prado was fooled by that one. Down to their final strike here at McKeon Park. Pitch from South. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and the Harbor Hawks able to keep their lead in second place and a huge win at home this evening. And Lyle, a great job by the Harbor Hawks late in this game, and especially for Seth Gray, the second night in a row with a big hit.
Absolutely. A 2-run double, the deciding hit in tonight's ball game. Like you mentioned, second night in a row with the home run last night. And the Harbor Hawks, they've won now 2 straight at home, and they keep their ground in the Western Division. They now move up to a point total of 49 on the season.
They sure do. Well, that's not going to do it, or that's going to do it all things fear for the broadcast with the postgame show with Chris Lucey. He'll be able to fill you in on everything about this evening's game and other things around the league. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Back at it with final thoughts here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. It's the postgame show. I'm Chris Lucey. Robert Marcello, second half play-by-play man, joining me on the microphone right now. And Robert, you had a bird's eye view here from the Hawk Nest for all the action here on Judy Scarafile Field. But I'm going to give us a bit of a later start. Around the 7th inning, Seth Gray came up in a big spot. He's been going back and forth with his hitting recently, but 0 for 2 on the day with a walk before hitting a 2 RBI double in the 7th inning. That was about as close as you could get to getting out of the ballpark. What was it that you saw in the play-by-play call? I know you, like many of us, thought it was going out.
I thought it was going to go out, and then Lyle just makes a hand gesture to me like, hey, it didn't when it went off the wall during my solo inning. A great hit by Seth Gray. He's clutch once again, just a really good player, and really throughout the season, he hasn't really shown much power. In the past 2 games, he's shown that.
Absolutely. Coming into the final stretch of the campaign as well, going towards the playoffs. I mean, this newfound power could be a real boost for the Harbor Hawks going into the postseason.
It sure will, and anytime we need a big hit now, we're just going to have to focus on Seth Gray and see what he does. Usually you see it from guys like Matthew Barefoot or Todd Lott, or you see it from really somebody else, or Davis Wenzel. And, we've seen the past 2 games from Seth Gray, something we really haven't seen all year long, that now you're starting to come up late in the year, especially when the time you need it.
Well, Seth Gray at 6'4", 220 pounds, certainly has plenty of power buried in that swing of his, and he's dug it up over the last couple of games. And now we'll track back a little bit to the beginning of this game where Zach Cohn, although he gave up 3 earned runs, was honestly, for the most part, outstanding in 5 1/3 innings pitched. He struck out 7. What was enabling him to spin it so well out there today?
Well, Zach Cohn. See, I'm thinking about how good of Seth Gray did and not focusing on Zach Cohn, but getting back to Zach Cohn. He did a lot of good things today, but this made a couple of mistakes. But besides that, pitched really well. Gave the Harbor Hawks a chance to win the game. That's all you can ask.
Absolutely. Zach Cohn setting the table nicely for the Harbor Hawks. They needed a little bit of a respite for the bullpen, although they still had to blow through 4 pitchers to get this game done. Riley Self coming in on back-to-back days to ice the win for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. You can't forget about the Mississippi State Bulldog. An inning and a third pitched, 2 strikeouts, no earned runs allowed. Definitely an outstanding performance from him, a very clutch one too. Rob, thank you so much for joining us. I'll let you hop off the mic right now. Robert Marcello, second half play-by-play man, joining me on the post-game show. I'm Chris Lucey. 3-4, the Harbor Hawks are able to take this one here. Game number 42 from Judy Scarafile Field at McKeon Park, going by way of the home ball club. And this ball club really is one that has embraced a can-do attitude over the last couple of games, and we feel like a broken record on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, continuing to go back to the top of the 9th inning in Wareham just the other day. But they captured something there. That team was down 10-2 going into the top of the 9th inning, their last licks in a blowout against the first-place team in their division. And that's one where you could pack it in. That's one, honestly, where you could see a ball club trending downward from, because they bump up against what appears to be the ceiling in their division and are really smacked down hard. But still, the ball club chipped away, putting up 4 runs in the top of the 9th against Wareham. And the way they did it, I think the most noteworthy, everybody supportive, cheering for each other, being very loud between pitches when guys got hits. It just showed that we have a ball club here in Hyannis that does not want to go home anytime soon. And since that loss in Wareham, they've picked up consecutive wins and are playing about as well as they have all season long with some limited resources. They've lost some key arms out of the rotation. Zach Randolph getting released recently, once the Cape League leader in strikeouts, the Wright State product. Very impressive for the Harbor Hawks. Several other key players going home too, and Will Holland amongst other names. But the ball club that is here right now, the main focus for the Harbor Hawks coaching staff, which has seen a clubhouse really mesh together well and minimize the amount of worries they have. A ball club, according to Ray Korn, that stays well together, that communicates well, not only plays better in the field, but is less of a hassle for the coaching staff that has to manage them, manage egos, manage playing time. When they're kind of keeping their own egos in check, that's just one less thing that a coaching staff has to preoccupy itself with. And just getting back to the importance of tonight, that never say die attitude helping Hyannis jump ahead in the bottom of the 7th inning on a 2-run double from Seth Gray. The Wright State infielder just coming up in the clutch time and time again for the Harbor Hawks over the past 2 days. Another guy who's embraced that never say die attitude, coming back from an 0 for 18 slump with a 2-run bomb yesterday. That was something else. And going into the playoffs, the Harbor Hawks don't have too easy a close to the regular season. A home and away series, or an away and home series more accurately, against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox coming up over the next 2 days. And Yarmouth Dennis is just head and shoulders above the rest of the Cape right now at 55 points. Now, mind you, Hyannis jumps up to 49 points with tonight's win, only one behind the Wareham Gatemen, who can manage no more than a tie in their ball game against Katuitt. So they jump up to 50. Hyannis only 1 point away from a Western Division championship with 2 games left to play. But the Wareham Gatemen also play these very Bourne Braves in their last 2 games. So a Bourne ball club that's already counted out of the playoffs showed tonight that it's not necessarily ready to pack it in on the season. Everyone's still trying to get theirs, beef up their stat lines a little bit at the end of the season. So Wareham might have their hands full a bit more than they expect, whereas the Harbor Hawks really have to be on their best game going out to Red Wilson Field tomorrow to take on the Red Sox. And while we're talking about Red Wilson Field, I'll wrap up the rest of the postgame show with a quick look around the league. I'm Chris Lucey. 4-3, the final score of this game here at McKeon Park. Hyannis taking the final game of the season series against the Bourne Braves, winning the season series 5-1. Now let's take a look around the rest of the Cape. As I mentioned earlier, Wareham and Katuitt managing only a 4-4 tie, a game called on account of darkness down at Lowell Park. Over at Arnie Allen Diamond, the Brewster Whitecaps unable to really grow their lead on the Orleans Firebirds, to say the least. The Falmouth Commodores punching them down 10-2 in Falmouth. Interdivisional matchup right there. A very lopsided one, as the Whitecaps have a very tenuous hold on that 4th playoff spot. Only a 28-27 point lead over the Orleans Firebirds, who, unfortunately for their fan base, isn't doing much to take advantage of what could be a golden situation to jump their way back into the playoffs. YD leads Orleans 2-0 down at Eldridge Park in the top of the 6th inning. Moving over now to 2 teams that already have pretty much sewn up their playoff spots. The Chatham Anglers and Harwich Mariners are going at it over in White House Field. 4-1 the score. Chatham on top of the Mariners going into the bottom of the 9th inning. So last licks coming up for the ball club at Harwich. Last licks have come and gone here at McKeon Park. 4-3 the final score. The Harbor Hawks taking this one against the Bourne Braves. That'll be all for post-game coverage here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network game broadcast. But be sure to catch the rest of the program. We have a video recap coming up just after the game in Hawk Talk. You'll be able to catch that. I'll be anchoring that with my 2 broadcast partners. And on behalf of my 2 broadcast partners, Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello, including our sideline reporter, Dani Terzer, I'm Chris Lucey. Thank you so much for jumping on the broadcast with us tonight. And you can catch us tomorrow at 4:30 away at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth Dennis to take on the Red Sox. Until then, have a great night.